Welcome, agents, to Strain 64-DRM of the 0 Point Report, a broadcast all about the news surrounding the Secret World IP. Today is Thursday, May 26th, 2022, and I am Ocho, one of the hosts for this evening. With me tonight, we have Jimmy the Rabbit.
Prove it.
Objection.
Hearsay.
Following.
Lack of foundation.
Leading the witness.
They're trying to establish a narrative. I'm trying to remember all the objections. Hi.
Trying to establish a narrative? Be like, look.
Yeah, no, that's an actual objection. Is like something about establishing a narrative. Like you're not allowed to construct a narrative in your question.
Like you're not allowed to make, I don't even know.
Yeah, you can't ask a question that weaves a narrative in the question.
Be like, so there was this rabbit, and this rabbit went to the store, and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, stop it.
A question, but it would be more like, did you see this rabbit that is a undercover Templar for the dragons go do it? No. You can't just add in bullshit that establishes some kind of narrative. You have to ask a straightforward question.
Believe it or not, here's a straightforward question. Do we also have someone else here with us? Yes, we do. It's
Objection.
also Two-Ton Waffle.
Objection, hearsay.
Me?
You.
It's not been entered into evidence.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey, how are you? There we go. Still setting stuff up. There we go. All right. So, anyway, if anyone is joining us in our chat tonight, because we are now live on something or other, live on some streaming service. Waffle's the one that knows all about the different streaming services.
I've pretty much experimented with them all.
Yeah, huh? That sounds like Waffle.
Yep.
Just a big old experimenter.
Dabble.
When I think of Waffle, I think of experimentation
with streaming platforms.
Hey, Ezreal. I didn't limit it to streaming platforms.
Neither did I. I said what I said. Be proud of it. No judgment here. Hey, Ezreal. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
It is what it is.
Or is it?
Well, no.
Or what it could be.
But yes.
Is it a bagel?
It could be.
Is it an everything bagel?
Or is it the matter that's within the whole of the bagel?
Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I have not
No,
yet.
but I've heard it's really good.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And there's also a bagel involved, so spoilers. I don't think it really matters.
Well, now the movie is ruined, thanks.
Yeah, I don't think it really
Jesus.
matters. That's why I said it.
Yeah,
If I really thought it mattered, I would avoid it. But
I probably won't see it recently just because I'm not a big movie seer, but I've heard lots of good things.
it's really fucking good.
It's me and a bot. Yeah, that happens. Aren't we all a little bit bot? So much so that
actually
we've programmed computers to basically try to ask us if we are bots or not.
So I watched a fucking 3-hour video essay on I guess technically on Bo Burnham's Inside, but it meandered a lot, and by a lot, like 3/4 of it. And there was a very interesting
more tangents
section.
than we usually.
It did. I think it put us to shame, actually, as far as the meander. It went into like.
For us, meandering is the point.
Yeah, but this was like, hey,
Oh, look, a squirrel.
Let's look at the Bo Burnham Inside special, and then let's talk about how Bezos founded Amazon and how it became what it is today. Which admittedly, there is a Bezos song in the thing, but it's like a minute long or something. But anyways, there's a really interesting bit about, hey, Bomber, about transhumanism and like the fact that we're already cyborgs. And it was a really interesting watch of a video, but I thought it had an interesting point about how, while it's not like physically attached to us, most of us, although technically I think we do have some actual cyborgs these days, right?
Oh, anyone with a pacemaker.
Yeah.
Also, just like actual like limb replacements and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know? There's actual like robot arms that move and shit. So we're basically
you have like a stent in your heart or something. You have like
Elon's working on the neural link. There's that.
Anything that is basically attached to us that is.
But ostensibly, your phone makes you a cyborg. Like he was talking about how his phone was dead, and he kept trying to reach for it because he was trying to go somewhere, and he had like directions on a map, and his brain kept wanting to be like, just pick up your phone, and it's like, it's dead. I was like, oh, why didn't you take a picture of the directions? Then you'd have them on your phone. The phone is dead. The brain just kept wanting to reach for this limb and use it, and it can't.
I think
And that's why
I just plugged mine in, so I'm good.
That's why for years they were talking about, you don't hear it as much anymore, but they're talking about phantom cell phone vibration, which is this.
Yeah, I still get that.
Yeah, which is this. Yeah, the stimulus that it's. Oh, I felt my leg vibrate.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
From stimulus, and it's but my phone didn't actually vibrate. It was just
just your muscles like twitching because they're used to getting that vibration there or something.
And then the vibration is felt, and then your mind actually translates it to, oh, hey, that's your phone. And but they say that we have this sort, because I've looked into it. I've read some of those studies, and it's the reason why is that they believe is that because of the way we use our phones to communicate with others, we actually start to see them as an extension of ourself. And because we start seeing them as an extension of ourself, that our brain basically perceives its necessity to the point of thinking it's there when it's not there. Actually, and so we do it like a phantom limb, and that's why we feel it, even though
which is why the argument makes sense that we're already cyborgs, because our brain is treating it like a limb.
Oh no, I don't deny that at all. No, that makes sense. Yeah, you could even make the argument that I am wearing glasses on my face. Sorry, like this it's a device that actually helps us to see. It is a modification.
Sure.
Although that might be more steampunk. I don't know what that classification might be. Like, it is a tool that I wear constantly to assist me in
your day-to-day.
My day-to-day activities. I'm just riffing. Neuralink is like the worst example. Okay, yeah, Neuralink.
The worst example. It's an example of it's not a example of what I was talking about.
It's an example of what you're talking about, but it's far from being success or showing any sort of real progress yet.
I actually don't think that's true, but that's not my point. My point was not that it's like working now. My point was the cell phone thing being a phantom limb, and then the fact that that next step is something that's already being seriously looked at.
And it has been for years, actually.
They literally traumatized monkeys to the point of self-mutilation. That just proves my point. If we're already to the point where a chip is being implanted where monkeys mutilate themselves, like, that's awful sounding. But as far as like, it isn't science fiction in the sense that it's some ethereal thing. That may not be a physical concept that's now destroyed some monkeys. You know what I'm saying?
The point is that's more of an ethical concern, but the progress is still there. It shows the scientific progress, but
I'm sure they used awful methods. Okay, we're gonna go down a shitty road here.
That's the ethics part of it.
You do realize that a massive amount of our advancements came from super shitty ways, right? That's the unfortunate, horrible reality. I'm not saying that we should do it or continue to do it because it works. I'm just saying historically that has been what has happened.
On animals has always been a thing. And
I'm not just testing on animals. The amount of shit we got out of
testing on humans has always been
the Nazis is really fucked up. Like, it's super fucked up. Don't get me wrong. It is super fucked up.
But it's not like anyone was really going to turn that down.
I'm not justifying that. Just don't get mad at me because it existed. I'm not. Oh, I think the tank just died. I'm in a dungeon right now.
Realized you right away. Oh no, like I said, that's more of the ethical concerns. And you're right. During Nazi Germany, there was all kinds of experiments that they did on humans because they didn't have the ethics compunction, and so they were doing a whole bunch.
Unfortunately, for whatever inexcusable reason, like, we traded a lot for that information as well. It's not like we said, oh, this information came from that horrible thing, so we're going to burn it. Like, we had lots of scientists got
quite to the contrary. They're like, listen, we don't condone how we got this information, but we're going to use it.
Yeah, like, how do you think the space program happened?
Yeah.
Hold on, let's be clear.
Okay.
The events that happened were appalling. No one's saying they weren't. That doesn't mean they didn't happen. If you, like, no one's saying that it's right or that it should have happened or anything like that, Bomber. But I think to turn a blind eye to the fact that it happened is not.
And to ignore it is not capable or not the right motive. Oh, I don't like monkey see, monkey do. It's like, or not, but see no evil, hear no evil kind of thing. Is if you don't see it or don't understand it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or it has happened. Is you learn from it so it doesn't happen again.
So it doesn't happen again. Right. You're like, this is not acceptable. The whole reason why all that came to light is because we do not want that to happen again. It is not good things. It is not, we should not be experimenting in this way, in these manners. They are harsh and ethically not.
I was gonna say like dubious at best, but if you call it Nazis, it's not even dubious. It's just
it's not even there. It's not even dubious. Like, we know they're evil.
I would say you could say the animal testing is ethically dubious.
Yeah.
So I'm saying make advance being horrible. That's an awful way to go about saying any of that. But it's true. Like, it might be like an awful truth and a horrible truth, but it's the straight up reality is that a large amount of our advancements have been by being horrible to things and each other and the planet. Like, it's okay. I understand that people and animals is disturbing. So even if you shift from that, you really think testing nukes on land or underground is good for anything or anybody? Like, even if you're not directly killing something or someone, that's not good for the planet to just be like,
we did this nuke underground. No.
We're gonna nuke underground. We think that's fine. Surely there'll be no bad things that come out of that. You're not gonna fuck up any groundwater or, you know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's just a simple fact that most major advancements have come with some kind of cost, let's say.
With any kind of advancement, you have to think there is a cost.
Now, hopefully we've been getting a little bit better about it, right?
But that's the key.
To lessen the effects and cost of.
That's the key, is that we've learned,
you're now committing horrible atrocities to your desk, and I won't stand for that.
We've learned and we've grown, and so we don't test that same way anymore. That's progress.
That isn't funny. Okay, as my kids would say in a Peppa Pig voice, it's a bit funny. I can't do the Peppa Pig voice, sue me.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
I would argue that potentially we've just gotten better at hiding it. And maybe less of it happens, but also I think some of it's probably just hidden better, potentially.
Like tying it into Secret World's experiments on the filth and Orochi's. Like, that's the whole context, is that, the experiments that they're doing.
The next subject tonight is we tie this into Secret World, and you realize that Solomon Island is an entire petri dish they've decided is okay to do.
Entire experimentation, yeah.
It's literally okay to nuke.
It's basically a whole discussion about, or it's a whole part of how that is, in and of itself, it's wrong. All the experimentation that they're doing is wrong and unethical. That's why we consider Orochi to be as unethical as they are.
But then we laugh about it because you go, oh, you see Orochi agent, oh, they're dead. There's a whole meme about it.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second, because it doesn't, there's something in the game that doesn't make sense.
That's the human cost.
No, see, that's the thing, though. Is it? Hear me out on this. There's a weird line from Samael in the penthouse where he says, you wonder why you see so many Orochi dead all the time, and then basically implies that the Mitsubashi is the reason because they can come back. But that doesn't make sense, because surely not all Orochi are Mitsubashi.
No.
But that's what he implies in that sentence. Like, in that line, there's almost the implication that, like, we don't care about Orochi because they just come back. And it always has struck me as odd, because how do you, unless all Orochi are Mitsubashi, like, how do you, what is the word?
Which doesn't make sense from a business standpoint.
Yeah, how does that line make any sense? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem to make sense that you would say, you know how you see all those dead Orochi? The reason we don't care about that is Mitsubashi. You're like, wait, what? So you're careless with life because you have...
Because you found a way
because you have half a dozen guys that won't die? That doesn't make any sense. You would still need to refresh your ranks because you need rank and file. So I don't know. I thought it was weird. Just my opinion. I don't know if Vomer's already left, or if Vomer might have an opinion or some lore information on that, but it was weird. And
maybe it's a call to, I don't know, future content that they were thinking of at the time.
I don't know. I'm actually like super weirded out. I've always been super weirded out as to that specific thing. Trying to Cecil being really no distraction you think it is. All right, Vomer, I wasn't being awful. I'm sorry you think that way, but that's just not That's not the reality of what was happening. And I think this is applicable. Because we were just talking about the cost of sacrificing lives, and we talked about
how Secret World itself.
No, we talked about Salmon Island being like
is basically a lot of the Secret World. A lot of the theming of Secret World is basically that giant business without ethics is bad.
All right, like you're kind of irritating me right now. I'm gonna be honest. Like at this point, I don't care. I just don't. Like, I can't control how you take or interpret something that I say. That's not something I can control. So if you just are not interested in a conversation, that's fine. That's okay. But I still am curious, regardless, I don't know how that's supposed to, how that sentence makes any sense whatsoever. I'm in a dungeon right now, but maybe I'll go in the penthouse after this just to hear the line again. Because
we can share your screen when you get in there.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm more curious than anything. I really should have taken the healing gadget. Oh God. I'm gonna die. Damn it.
And Vommer, I understand. And I'm
well, yeah,
it's basically it's bad. No, it is. It absolutely is. But it's also an acknowledgement of reality.
And we're not sitting here saying, oh, yeah, Nazis were great dressers and they're awesome and they made all these cool things. No, we did not say any of that fact.
No.
In fact, it's the complete opposite.
That's not the implication. But the implication is that, but it did happen. It happened and it is reality and it's happening around us all the time. And we can't just close our eyes to it. Again, part of the Secret World's theming is look at what's happening all around you. Like all of this is happening all around you. And you either close your eyes to it or you see it for what it is. Good and bad. But I don't know.
But when you play the game, you're looking at material, and it's a heavy material that when you actually look deep down into it, it's heavy even to think about. Yes, Kaylee, what's up? Okay.
I'm not implying you're blind.
No, Volmer, come on, seriously. We're not picking on you.
I'm just
seriously.
saying, like, if this is how you're feeling right now, maybe you just shouldn't be having a conversation right now. And I'm not trying to be dismissive or, I don't know, mean about it. I'm just saying, this is the frame of mind you're in. I don't know that anything you talk about is going to help. Because, also, I want to be able to talk about...
Okay, Volmer, I'm going to tell you now.
Stop addressing you. But I want to talk about what I want to talk about, which is I still want to talk about the Kingsmith, Petri, all Orochi somehow are okay to die because of Mitsubashi. I don't get that connection. I'm curious about it. I would like to know more.
And it could be because, like, you think that is maybe, I don't know, part of, like, the reason why Orochi puts themselves in so much danger in the first place is quite potentially because they do believe themselves to be able to do that is what they are promised. That's what they're told.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to commit to this dungeon, and so I got to finish it out. But, like, now I just really want to go in the penthouse and hear the line again because it's just weird. Like, it's just... It never sat right with me, and now I want to be like, am I crazy, or does it really say that?
You're like, why does this line exist? Because the main thought is that it's not, oh, they messed up on this line shouldn't be there. It's, no, it's there. We have to mean something. And it's okay to turn around and say, but we don't know what it necessarily means.
Yeah.
That we can't, just because we don't understand something, we don't go around and say that the game's wrong. The people who wrote this are wrong. It shouldn't be in there. Or... who knows? It could have a purpose. Mean something. But we do have some stuff that we pulled out of the ether. None of it really relating to Secret World. I would much rather two things. Two things actually relating to Secret World.
I have something relating to Secret World, but you can do other stuff first.
Okay. One of the first we saw was that basically Dune Spice Wars put out a roadmap over their course of early access.
Those crazy fools! Have they not learned the roadmap lesson?
More importantly, Funcom put out a roadmap?
It's not Funcom. It's
Shiro Games?
Yeah.
Is it Shiro? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it?
I don't know. Whoever's making Dune.
Yeah, it's Shiro Games. No, I was confused myself last night too. Games. Because I was thinking V Rising was made by Shiro, but they're Stunlock. And I'm like, oh, they made Northgard. Oh, no, because Shiro made Northgard and also Dune. So I went for like a good 10 minutes. I'm like, who the hell makes this game?
But yeah, it's okay. So it was put out by Shiro, but it's wait, a roadmap? We haven't seen roadmaps since basically Secret World got a roadmap and people just split it apart. They're like, hey, got this. We put out this roadmap for Secret World, and then when they weren't able to perfectly meet their deadlines, that it got obliterated. But Dune Spice Wars said that their first upcoming this summer, two things coming this summer, a multiplayer and a new faction. Because the first thing they want to do out of the gate is multiplayer.
That just makes sense.
That's what they're first starting to come out with, or we're harping on getting that out there to begin with, wanting to get it done.
It's basically the whole reason why Conan Shop was held back for so long. They were like, we want multiplayer. We want multiplayer. Is the game still early access? Yes. This is their early access. Even it even says right there. It's their early access roadmap. So like Conan Exiles, where Conan Exiles wasn't early access until they got enough out, and then they were like, nope, now we're going to release. Which of course, all of that is, take it for what it is. Funcom does appear to be one of the better companies that doesn't necessarily abuse early access.
Star Citizen.
I don't even know where Star Citizen even is in that discussion. Are they still call themselves an alpha? Are they still an alpha?
7 Days to Die.
Yeah. Whereas you can call yourself whatever, but there is the tacit understanding that you are taking money. And once you're taking money for a product, you should have a product.
Well,
but the thing about Dune Spice Wars, and even Conan Exiles when they were started, is that they did have a product. It just wasn't fully fleshed out. And even the Dune Spice Wars product that we tried, and I know you've been playing a lot of it, Waffle, is that it's a fairly good product. Just out of the gate, it's okay.
Yeah, there's some things that can need some tweaking, but with a lot of the stuff with the latest update, they've added a lot of new stuff to it and made some really good changes. And it's still early access, so it's like more and more is going to change no matter what.
Oh yeah,
and that is the idea of early access, is saying, hey, we want to start basically getting funding for this project, but with the tacit understanding that this product will go through heavy changes and heavy modifications and whatnot as we make it more in line with what we want it to be, which is fine. Games don't come out like boxes anymore. Games don't come out as a box where it's just, here's the CD or whatnot and we're done, or here are the discs and we're done.
Back in the good old days.
We do live in an age where updates are fully possible.
Yeah, when games were first released, and now it's pretty much it.
So it's like they can do that, and in a sense, now the question of whether they should do it is, of course, a whole other question. And that's why I say you take everything with a grain of salt, because just because they say, oh, we're early access, up until this point, early access has mostly been just a cover for, hey, here's a completely unfinished product, and who knows if we'll ever actually finish it.
Yeah, I think Exiles was one of the first ones to actually do that.
And do that right, with the intent of, hey, we're in early access, just letting you know, we're going to do a lot of changes.
And even when it first came out in early access, it changed a lot from that point to when it was fully released. Like a completely different game.
And they're like, but we will eventually have what we consider to be a full product, and we will release that full product, and it won't be years in between that process. Basically using early access to the way that early access is meant to be.
Yeah.
The intention for it. Now, could they have just come out and said, hey, well, here we go, we released, and we're also going to have all these updates as we go. It's basically the same thing. The difference is the name behind it, the title behind it.
Yeah.
And that's why whether you've got Star Citizen and its perpetual, I don't even know if they've reached beta status yet.
Who knows?
If
they've been raking in millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Or what is that? Warframe?
Warframe, I think.
Warframe is technically in beta, or is in?
They're beta. They've been in beta since eternity, and I believe they stated they never plan to come out of beta or some shit.
God damn it!
Which is
to the Googles.
Which is just stupid. But yeah,
like what? Like when they plan on stop updating it, that's when it's going to be considered released.
Yeah, they basically, I believe they've said like they don't ever plan on taking it out of beta.
God dang it! Can you? It's like we are going to change the definition of release now to.
It doesn't say that it's early access or beta or anything.
No, it does.
Well,
I'm sure I can't.
I'm looking at Steam's page right now.
No, I forget. What game was it again? That's it.
All right. Website. Yes.
Support for cross-platform play and cross-save, as well as ports to mobile devices, are planned for 2022. The game is in a long-term state of open beta.
Okay.
There you go.
What? It's crazy talk.
Yeah, that's just what they decided to do. It's super stupid.
But it's free to play though.
Yes, so?
Yeah.
Still, that you can say, oh, it's a free to play game. You're not buying anything. You can buy cosmetic stuff to help support development.
That's not, I guess I understand what you're saying, but that's not really my point. Is that they've called it a beta, so they can just keep doing beta shit. Like so if it's ever like unstable or goes down or like whatever, it's like, yeah, who cares? It's beta. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Apparently I was like, who said that? Where did they say that? And apparently it's in an extended cut with Digital Extremes' Steve Sinclair. We talked to him about his career at Digital Extremes and the never-ending struggle to get Warframe made. So that comes from an interview from just this past January.
There you go.
Where he said, nope, we're just in a perpetual open beta. A long-term state of open beta. Which again, like I said, it's take with a grain of salt. It's basically they're considering themselves in beta because they're perpetually making changes and adding content and adding this and adding that, adding blah 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 blah, like any live service game, essentially. So does that mean that eventually they're just going to, when they stop making content for it, that they'll be like, and we're done. Now it's released.
And it's dead. Servers are off.
We release it into death. That's how that's gonna happen.
Yeah, pretty much. So all our population's dropping, but we're released now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But
you can make the statement that, oh, they took their time of developing the game, unlike other developers that push out stuff too early. Well, this group spent years dedicating, honing their craft.
That's kind of my problem with it, though, is like they never fucking gave birth to the game. I feel like at some point you have to like just cut the cord.
Yeah, and just release it. But you're working on like an improvement, like an expansion or a DLC or something that you can release at a later date with the new stuff that you've been working on.
I'll say, but we just call that expansions or DLC. That already has a name to it.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't really call it an expansion unless you have a release. Otherwise, it's just...
That's what she said.
Otherwise, it's just part of the base game, part of the, I don't know. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because as long as there's a product to play and they're taking money for it, then that's a thing. And what they call it at that point is just marketing. It's all marketing.
I don't know if it's just marketing.
But it's because there's no like regulatory body behind it. So
I do think it gives them some legal outs, actually. I'm pretty sure it gives them legal outs to technically be a beta still. There's different...
That's only really if there's someone actually... If there is some accepted definitions of what they actually mean.
Okay, so there doesn't necessarily have to be a definition of what beta is, but there is a definition of what a released game is. So you wouldn't have to abide by whatever released games have to abide by. Does that make sense?
It does, and it shows why they're just
beta
like...
or an alpha or early access or whatever. It doesn't have to meet the established standards of potential liability of a released game. So that's what I'm saying is I think it does matter in the sense that they're not a released game, so there's certain things they don't have to do.
Partially, that begs the question then of what are these standards that release games have to live up to that betas do not? Or is that mostly just all in perception?
Probably just perception.
No, I don't think it's perception because then it wouldn't matter to you. You know what I mean? Why stay in beta? Why not just release it and continue to update it? Right? Why?
Because then you can have people and critics criticize you that you release the game in this state as a finished product when instead you're set up as a beta. You're free to go about and experiment.
People are criticizing you for being in beta for 7 years as well. It's not like that's not happening. I truly don't think it's an optics thing. I think it's.
You think there's some like actual legal standing behind it?
Yeah, I think it gives them. I'm pretty sure they've actually said something about this. I think they've said something to the effect of this is why we're still in beta, but I can't recall exactly what that was. off the top of my head.
This is also, what country are they in? Because the country does matter.
Potentially,
Like, I think some countries, like especially Swedish countries or Norway, Sweden, Finland, I think that they actually do have more stricter regulatory bodies when it comes to this sort of thing.
Sure. I think a lot of these places, you actually have to, I'm pretty sure you end up having to abide by multiple things, right? Because you might be in one country, but if your consumer's in another country, then there could be still like things you have to abide by because you're
actually putting your product into.
Yeah. All right, here. I'm in the penthouse.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, this line still doesn't make sense. I didn't realize it was already playing. Sorry. I would have casted.
You going to cast it?
I think I
That's
think I can shadow play it though. I think I shadow played it. Hold on. Hey Revim.
Hey Revim.
Hold on. Let me see here.
No, now.
Nope.
Do it.
What is happening? Why? What? I was doing thumbnails. I thought it was deleting my files. I was like, what is happening?
Deleting everything.
Machines have become aware.
Okay. Here, I'll just give you the text. So this is the exact quote, okay? Did you ever wonder why so many Orochi personnel seem so unprepared for the dangers they faced out in the field? Ever wonder why Orochi are just fucking dying all over the place because they're not prepared for the dangers in the field? Okay, that's the first line.
Okay.
And then the next line is, did you really think you were the only one who could cheat death? Which just by implication is like, they're unprepared because they don't give a fuck because they can cheat death. That is a direct implication of that line following the other line, right? And then it goes on to say, did you think your organization was the only one that could find those individuals whose lips taste of honey? Meaning, hey, we have these too. And then I think now it's where it says, yeah, allow me to introduce you to the Mitsubashi. Well, okay.
So right, the way that those secretive statement or the statements are in succession imply that all Orochi.
Yeah. You ever wonder why so many Orochi personnel seem so unprepared for the dangers they faced out in the field? Like, why? But immediately followed by, do you think they're the only ones that could cheat death? It directly implies the Orochi personnel that are unprepared for dangers in the field can cheat death. Now, I don't think that's true based on the number of dead Orochi bodies lying around.
And when he says, oh, well, let me introduce you to the Mitsubashi, they are like
something new that you haven't met before. I guess you could have
all the dead Orochi are not Mitsubashi, obviously.
But also maybe you didn't know you met Mitsubashi, right? He's introducing you to them. It doesn't mean that you didn't run into them. You just didn't know what they were potentially. Because just because he's saying I introduced you to them doesn't mean that you didn't run into them before. It just means you didn't know that they were Mitsubashi before. I don't know. It just seems like such a weird juxtaposition of sentences. Did you ever wonder why so many Orochi personnel seem so unprepared for the dangers they faced out in the field? Did you think you were the only one that could cheat death? It's just such a massive implication that is so weird. Because, although now that I think about it, do we leave dead bodies behind? The game just doesn't render them?
We do just fall over.
Like when you used to do slash reset all the time in TSW, like you see your body fall over, you res somewhere else. And of course there's not corpses everywhere because that would just get
that would just be unrealistically weird, yeah. Not unrealistic. That would be
But game engine wise, that would not be good.
Yeah.
But okay, what if you do leave a dead body every time? Then would it make sense that the Orochi personnel don't give a shit because they're just leaving dead bodies everywhere, but they're actually coming back somewhere else? I don't know.
Possible.
It's just a weird line.
Their body is just whatever, and then it's reconstructed sort of a la Star Trek's transporters.
Yeah, transporter. I was going to say, yeah, transporter dilemma. So, yeah. Are you the same person? Technically, you are not because your original body was disintegrated. It's just your atoms and stuff reconstructed.
Or even on the weirder aspect of the Star Trek teleporter, getting into that, it's not even the fact of you were just your atoms were then switched. It's that you were actually turned into a data stream, which was then sent to whatever it is, and then reconstructed using your matter.
You were basically zip filed.
Yeah, and that's
And the other end didn't have a copy of
how many episodes have they had of I just stored my pattern in the buffer, and you're storing up in the computer's buffer system, and that's data. That's not a person. That's
and there's several episodes where it's we only have so much time before the buffer clears, and we lose the person.
Yeah, which begs the question: couldn't you just clone people willy-nilly because you can just copy the buffer and do it again?
They've done that in a whole bunch of episodes too. That's the whole point of like in Star Trek Next Generation, they had Thomas Riker because there was an accident where Riker was being beamed up and half the beam got reflected off the clouds, and so he didn't actually fully apparate, so he like reappeared back on the surface, but the other half went to the starship and they were able to reconstruct him just fine. And so eventually he meets this brother that's basically himself from a transporter accident, and it's basically that. It's
showing the Roji weren't expecting the horrible mess at the Roji camps. Well, they cover that though. Did you ever wonder why so many personnel are so unprepared for the dangers? So that they were unprepared for the mess at the camps, but apparently they didn't care because they can cheat death is the implication, right?
Those agents were prepared for it, but the Mitsubishi would have been prepared for it.
You leave behind in the state of upon resurrection discussed in the tower to do with Bali. That sounds familiar, Valmer. I know that that's what I was saying though. So it's discussed in Valley. Do you know off the top of your head if for sure you leave a full carcass behind every time? I know they had like bottled organs from that one guy they were testing. They kept vivisecting and stuff.
Kept the organs, right? Yeah, the organs didn't just disappear.
On that part, I'm not positive about. I know they were trying to keep them. I don't know if they end up going away after a certain amount of time. I know game engine-wise they go away, but that doesn't mean anything.
That's right. That's game engine. That's not lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In universe.
Do I need to go to the Valley? Do I need to go to the Valley section?
Why don't you share your screen?
No, it's my screen. You can't have it.
Obviously.
No. Hey, if you didn't bring enough for everybody.
I didn't. It's one screen. There's multiple people. I'm just kidding. Hold on.
Well, I didn't show you all the porn.
I like how you. You're trying to the side of their Guinness.
I was trying to see if I could phrase that in a little better way, and I was like, I'm not sure I can.
Even when you committed to it, was half-assed.
I was like, I'm sure there's a better way to phrase this, but they're really no. I just went for it anyway.
When you die and come back, the organs basically dissipated. Try to keep the subject alive as long as possible. As a result, horrifying. All right, is my game screen sharing? Can you see it?
What is that noise? Hold on.
That was me sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually shared your screen. Yep, I see it. Hold on. Let me pop it out. Discord, when I say full screen, I don't mean just like 3 or 30 pixels bigger.
That hide thumbnails feature or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, hold on. Hide members. Oh, hey! There we go. We learn something new every day.
Hell yeah. Genius, and I didn't even know it. Kidding.
Future's now, old man.
Hey, that hurts.
I wonder if my screen still comes out. Like, I think I shared my screen once, and it was like half the size. I've got a tiny screen.
It's okay. There's screens of all sizes.
It's not the size of the screen that matters.
It's the resolution.
Is it though? Is that how it works?
Sometimes it's landscape, sometimes it's vertical.
What is wrong with you?
It's quite a bit. There's quite a bit wrong with that.
Yeah.
This isn't the. I don't think this is the floor with that shit.
I'll fully admit there's a lot of stuff wrong with this. That's okay.
Ow! Die!
I'm not sure if that's the exact floor, but I do remember it's in there somewhere.
It's Valley, but I don't think it's this one. The mega floor.
Or that's one where they're basically like, hey, we're using organs to make our robots. All the robots are people. They're people.
Bunch of
Cybermensch.
late.
This one?
Which was probably one of the steps of trying to get Mitsubishi and trying to figure all that out. One of the steps to.
I think they were trying to figure out I like how there's power line. Those guys get power line and we don't. Just rude.
It's reminding us of abilities we used to have.
Yes. Yeah, remember when you used to have power line?
Remember this ability?
Sucks to be you. Average farm, remember. Is it this one?
Because it had something to do with was it like right next to them you found some of the like their own animal wells or something in progress?
I think it is this one. right? Because here's the guy.
Some of their portable animal wells. Is that what those are in the
they're-
corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get this guy real quick.
I do love the concept, though, is that part of the draw, essentially, is that Orochi is this giant corporation
Yeah.
that is obviously still being used by billions of people worldwide in its many things, from its sick oil gas stations to bingo,
bingo, and then the media, and then...
No, it's not. We were talking this before. Is it bingo that's Orochi, or is it? What's a soda brand that's Orochi?
In cola.
Yeah, bingo is surprisingly not Orochi.
Bingo.
Yes, yeah, Zagan.
It might very well be. I don't know if it's ever explicitly stated. Wait, this guy's alive, dude.
Yeah, he is. He's
He's
moving.
actually literally moving. I don't think I ever noticed that before. He's alive.
It's not in a good state, that's for sure. Yeah, utterly traumatized.
The Odyssey Project. I ensured inexhaustible.
I met a Google Nestle, yeah. But it's the fact that Orochi is not giant because they don't give products to people.
What? Yes, they do.
No, that's what I mean. They do. There's a whole reason why they're one of the biggest company brands in the world, is because they are supplying stuff to people out there. And it's that concept of, if we were in the Secret World universe, yeah, we'd be like, instead of Pepsi versus Coke, it would be Zagan versus Bingo. It would be, instead of driving down to the Exxon gas station,
Actually, no,
instead we'd be
what's the
driving
other
down to the sick oil station, and
Sure.
all of that.
Isn't there a third cola? Isn't there a third? There's a third soda, right?
Is there? There probably.
There's Bingo, there's Zagan, and there's something else. We covered this before.
We
I'm
have, yes.
sure there's 3 of them, but we're getting sidetracked.
Doing a Google search is not going to help me.
Yeah.
Cola brands in Secret World? No, it just brings out a whole bunch of links that...
Is it porn?
No. It's not.
Rule 34?
Porn. Not this time. I type in...
I'm requesting one of those portable animal wells to be placed closer. I'm tired of walking so far every time the bee expires. So the doctor is porting via the animal wells, I think. Or no, maybe, never mind. Maybe the bee expires and just pops up next to him. That's what it is. Sorry. I misunderstood that at first. Interesting. So yeah, every time we take too much, he simply reconstitutes. I don't see where it says...
Do not panic. Do not panic. Do not panic. Do not panic.
I found
here it
I
is.
found a website.
The
I found a
organs do
website
not
called...
stay viable once the bee dies, no matter how well maintained. I perfected making them last indefinitely within the life support of the drones of the bees alive, with only one set of possible organs at any given time. Yeah, not cost effective. I don't know that it says that they disappear though. I'm not sure it says that. It just says they're not viable.
So like they're not viable organs. But right there in the
Well-
jar next to you, there's an organ, right?
Yeah. So I think they just cease to function when he dies, but they don't, at least from everything in the sent folder here, doesn't say anything about them vanishing.
So is there an implication there that there's a, like, what are in the jars around you there?
Yeah, it's a hand and a foot. I don't know, this one looks empty.
So is
Yeah.
it like the implication that, those are from,
I think so. That's what it seems
that those
like.
would be from bees, and that they were cut off, but they were put in some fluid to preserve them. So it is questionable if there's maybe that's it. Maybe there has to be a preservation medium
Well, no.
order to
So
keep them.
I think so. Okay, just to be clear, what his project is trying to do is get non-bees into Agartha,
Okay.
and they
right,
can't
right.
do that. They can't do that. Look at all this. There's a brain. Can't imagine he lasted long without that. Arm.
Brain is certainly an organ.
I don't know. Some people seem to be without one, and you said it's fine.
So okay, so those are basically from people who are not bees.
So what they're doing is they're taking an organ from him and they're putting it in one of these cyborgs, and then they're trying to get one of these into Agartha. That's the plan.
Oh, okay.
That's the project. Is can we invade Agartha?
Okay, so it is taking it from a bee.
And how many organs from him do you need in this guy before Agartha lets him in? But they don't function.
It's what is it? A ship? It's a ship of Theseus?
Yes, exactly. How much meat into a human? So how much of the bee needs
It's a ship of Theseus metaphor?
Before Agartha's, yep, that's a bee, let him in. And then, but the thing is that the organs cease to function. Once he resuscitates, there's no life force going to those organs anymore. So that while they keep him alive, his liver can be in another body and it's still going. But as soon as he dies, it's a dead liver.
The liver stops functioning entirely.
That's the implication, at least.
Okay.
Unless there's something else somewhere that says they actually de-res, I haven't seen anything that says that in here. I could have just missed it. There might be lore elsewhere that says that.
But also, so again, all of those organs are also in a sort of fluid.
That's
so
just like formaldehyde. That doesn't actually mean that it's doing anything. Presumably formaldehyde doesn't actually mean it's doing anything to keep them going.
Right, or not to keep them going, but at least to preserve it from further decay.
There's notes about, hey, this didn't work because whatever reason. And
references blood is left behind.
What, when you die or something? Or when the organ goes away?
When we die.
I don't see anything in so far, at least, in any of the text that says.
What would be a good place to explore?
Blood's left in some of the rooms. Yeah, obviously, yeah, blood's there. So
okay, all right, yeah.
It would seem to indicate that, like, game engine stuff notwithstanding, like, probably every time you die, you leave a body. It's just dead tissue.
But what I'm thinking of is, what if that body just decomposes fairly quickly, and so it needs all the formaldehyde and it needs all the stabilizing fluids in order to keep it around.
I just think you're personally, I think you're reading a little too much into the jars. If you have a severed limb and you're going to keep it for examination, you put it in formaldehyde anyways.
You put it in a stabilizing fluid, or you put it on ice, or you put it in some way so that it doesn't decompose.
So I don't think that there's anything to indicate that you somehow decompose faster. I'm just saying. Oh, so anyways, what I'm getting at with is that if that's true, then potentially all the Orochi that you see dead could just be one of the same 5 Orochi.
It could be that they're just all the same Orochi.
Like, all the dead Orochi you see everywhere are just, okay, there's an exception, though. Zombie Orochi can't be Orochi. Filth-infected Orochi can't be Orochi. That wouldn't work.
Because the filth and anima are...
Yeah, it doesn't happen to us. Why would it happen to them?
They cancel each other out.
They cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
one is the antidote to the other.
Okay, so even that already blows apart the theory that, like, most Orochi are bees, because then you wouldn't have any filth-infected Orochi on Selma Island.
Okay, because they
or
couldn't
zombies.
have anima powers and be infected by filth.
Yeah, we never get turned into zombies either. I think that's highly unlikely.
Like, we as bees are never really... are we ever actually infected by filth? I'm trying to think if there's any point.
I don't think we're infected, though. There does seem to be, from Savage Coast, there seems to be the possibility of being completely turned to filth. There's, like, the shade-looking one that says, like, Infected Secret Worlder or something like that is the title of the mob, and it's a shade.
In the Dream Palace. I bet a Dream Palace.
We're subsumed in filth to experience something, but I wouldn't say we become. But what I'm saying is, the filth lore talks about it a bit.
Oh.
There's something in Savage Coast. There is a mission.
Refem.
There is a mission in Savage Coast where you fight something that is literally labeled Infected Secret Worlder, and it's a shade.
Huh. Okay.
So potentially you could be turned. So
it'd be the corruption of.
Yeah. One would assume it's something like turning to the dark side, maybe. Like, you choose. Think about it. We make choices, right? We get different wings. All sweetlings are fair game to the drip. From the lore, I don't know, man.
Secret Worlder doesn't necessarily mean bee. It just means Secret Worlder. It just means somebody who is aware of the secret world. Yeah.
I've heard that said. I personally don't buy that as an explanation. Because there's other titles for infected things that are clearly... someone that knew about the secret world. I don't see. 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 I I don't see why it would be titled Secret World Order if not implying a B relationship.
I feel like Scriptomancer would know this.
But could he say is the thing? Could he say? Because he might not be able to talk about it.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think there'd be any embargo or anything.
So to Valmer's point, you can straight up die from sheer filth. That's fine, but you just reconstitute not filth elsewhere. So that's why it doesn't affect you, is because you reconstitute without it. So
we reconstitute as a. So is that it? If our body remains behind,
it goes back to the transporter.
Infects it, and that's why it's a filth-infected secret.
It goes back to the transporter thing because it's like, yeah, you leave your body, but you're like being reset.
But it's dead. It's completely dead tissue. I don't like. Maybe you leave a body behind and become zombified, but I don't think it becomes filth infected because I believe the filth mutates living things. I don't know that it mutates dead things.
Okay.
Necessarily.
What is dead may never die.
But right, no, yeah, a waffle at the point of right. It's again like the transporter in Star Trek because the transporter is able to filter out all of the when you transport onto the ship, it takes out all of the toxins or the filters. Yeah, it filters out all the bad stuff from you and then transports.
You got Norton antivirus on your transporter. That just makes sense.
Oh, wow, Norton, seriously?
That's the whole point of last week's Strange New Worlds episode, actually.
But so to Refn's quote, but the filth pours into the head of the insane and sadistic. That makes some kind of sense. That just because don't have to poop if you transport enough. What? Wait, what was that from?
You're not wrong, but also they don't want to waste that poop.
Hitman 1 million in the DC universe. They went like forward like a million years or something, and in that comic, I think it was probably pooping as well, but I think he like kicked him in the nuts, and instead of vomiting, the vomit just appeared outside of him and fell to the ground because they had decided that vomiting was like too much of a chore. So they have a little implant. So if you would vomit, instead the vomit just teleports outside of you.
Handy.
Much easier process.
No, in a Discovery episode, there's I forget the exact points of it, but it's like the Admiral of Starfleet is like there's a table and there's like an apple on it, and he's like, "You see that apple?" He's like, "Yeah." You know what it's made from? Be like, it's made from our feces. So even it's this whole concept of nothing goes to waste. So even on the starship, they would take your waste product and turn it into something that is, again,
matter conversion.
Yeah, it's a matter goes to waste. So I imagine that when you get teleported down to the surface, they might you don't have to poop because they just take it out and transport it somewhere.
There's just a shit planet somewhere.
I never thought of it that much.
Oh, no, it's the other system. Buffer.
It just gets put back into the replication. Just carbon.
Do not panic.
It's just component elements. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But the filth pours into the head of the insane sadistic makes a little bit of sense in the sense that maybe you're physically immune to the filth as a bee, but not necessarily mentally immune to the filth.
Okay.
And you also, there's an interesting one when it comes to that. What about
we watched the filth one last week? That's all right. Or last show, not last week.
What about what's her face from the facility, Alina? Right?
Both work.
No, because in the cinematic or whatever, she's got anima and filth. Like she's channeling both, if you recall. She's got like the portals open to the.
She's got the portal open to Agartha, and then she has the portal open to.
Yeah, and there's like beams of both coming into her. Yeah, she's a very unique existence. I'm not saying there's lots of her or anything.
See, I feel like this would actually be almost like really, and maybe I'm just setting my expectations way too freaking high. I feel like this would be really explored in the Secret World tabletop game when it comes out.
I mean, for no other reason than it could be if you wanted to.
Right.
Let's go do this.
But just to say that this is our established universe, it's okay, what happens when you die? As part of the established universe. What happens? You know, the filth, can it inflict? Anyone can just be like, all right, we're going to make a character where the filth it's a Secret World B, but the filth can infect them. Or because we have seen examples like Helena where they can have the powers of anima and also be using the anti-anima.
Yeah, there's a pit full of filth held back by a shield of energy. What do you think, dear Sweetling, are the chances that it'll hold?
To the other ones, they don't teleport for religious reasons. A lot of people in the Star Trek universe actually do not teleport for that reason. They're like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I will take a shuttle. I will not be
it's
teleported.
because their concept of what is the life, is it because your soul, is it the same? It's not the same. That whole conundrum. It's just...
Yeah, Star Trek has actually explored that quite a bit in many different series. But they've explored it, but simultaneously they've glossed it over. And they're, yeah, that guy just doesn't like it. And then they show the guy and he's
more comfortable.
I don't want to be disintegrated. And then they treat him like they're crazy.
But everybody does a transporter.
They're like everybody transports. What are you talking about? I don't want it. They make them seem like they're eccentric for this.
Who takes a shuttle? Weirdo.
They make them seem like eccentric
okay.
for not wanting to be destroyed and reconstituted.
But to be fair, you could make the same claim for people that don't want to fly. Like if someone was like, "Oh, I don't get on planes," period, you'd be like, "Everyone flies." What's wrong?
But that's right, and that's why they treat them that way. Is because this is a proven technology that works.
Yeah, it's a norm, but it's not unreasonable. Like teleporter is like you're disintegrated. I think that's fairly reasonable to be like, I don't know about disintegrating myself. That's a reasonable thing. Now, if you just grow up in it and that's just what everyone does, you probably wouldn't think about it. If it's new to you, you'd be like, I don't think I should disintegrate myself. That seems like a bad plan.
And that's why it's such a fascinating.
And so you can see the same thing. We have no qualms with flying, but also, if you really think about it logically, yeah, getting in a big metal tube that goes up in the sky seems like maybe not the smartest thing. You're like, I don't know about this. Getting in a metal tube that goes up in the air.
Right, like someone from saying, someone from the 1500s were like, oh yeah, no, just go to the airport and take a flying metal tube, and they're like, hold on, what?
Wait a minute, are you fucking insane? I'm not getting that.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. Hold up now. Hold up. We're doing what?
Yeah.
But we're like, no, it's a proven technology that functions, and aside from periodic accidents, is generally considered to be a very safe method. Even safer than regular car travel.
Yeah.
You're more likely to get into a car accident than you are a plane accident.
Well, I think it's that you're more likely to die in a car accident than in a plane accident. By a huge factor. I think because you don't take planes as much as you take cars. I think that's got to skew the data a little bit.
The number of cars that are driven on a constant basis every day is.
Although, to be fair, there's a lot of planes. It's just still not the same number, right?
Yeah.
You don't get in a plane every single day, or at least I should say most people don't. I guess pilots do.
The pilots do, but also they're also significantly more trained than your average.
Yeah, I was gonna say the whole air flight thing is so much more regulated, and you have a couple people actually flying the plane and a whole crew maintaining it. It's like your dumbass is driving your car and you're responsible for taking it to Jiffy Lube. That's a big difference than what goes on with planes. There's a reason they're safer.
Yeah, because regulations exist.
Yes, they're super regulated. They're super well maintained. Or there's some cheap airlines, but even the cheap airlines have a bare minimum they have to meet that's way higher than your fucking car is,
but even they have to meet those regulations. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I totally buy that plane. The thing that's actually interesting is that if you think about it, when a plane does screw up, when a car screws up, you might only have one person die. Or maybe if two vehicles involved, like anywhere between 2 and maybe 6 people involved, unless there's a massive pileup. All right. What if a plane goes down? You just lost a significant chunk of people because they generally carry more than just a handful.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more than.
But even with that, the statistic is still super low. They just don't. It doesn't happen all that often. It's a super big deal when it does. You're like, oh my god.
But if you think about it, if they were loosen those regulations and so you would have more planes crashing on a regular basis, no one would travel by plane.
Yeah, they'd be like, nah, I'm not doing that shit.
It's like a 95% chance of survival. See, at least in a car, you're like, okay, I'm the one driving it, so I'm the one who it becomes more of a personal responsibility instead of putting your lives in the hands of somebody else.
Well, okay. Except that you're also putting your lives in the hands of everyone else's driving.
Yes, again, true.
So that's less of a problem with planes because it's not planes. When planes do crash, I think it's. Wait, I'm not even sure you have to look this up. Has a plane ever crashed into another plane?
Oh.
Does that happen?
Absolutely.
When? Because there's a lot of sky. Like, you should be able to avoid the other plane.
But there's only so many airports, and it generally happens on takeoff or landing, is when a plane crash is usually going to occur. So that's like saying the number one place for car accidents is parking lots. Because
well, yeah, that's just like saying the number one place for accident is like your house. Yeah, duh, I'm in it most of the time.
And that's the thing, but they're always coming into airports, they're always taking out from airports. That's going to be the number one location where those things are going to actually occur.
Local flights are the most accident-prone. Single engine. Okay, I will grant you that. Of the things I've heard of, who went recently? It was like a basketball player or something.
What do you think about Kobe?
Yes.
That's a helicopter.
Oh, that was a helicopter?
Yeah.
It still counts. It's like a local flight, right?
Yeah, but helicopters are a different breed of
issues.
It's more complications.
I guess I'm saying it's a similar concept in that it's like a small local thing. And it's similar to you just have like how many planes has Harrison Ford crashed now? That dude just likes to crash planes at this point. Like, at least that's what I remember hearing. Like, he just keeps crashing.
Did he crash recently, like in the last year or two?
Again? Because I'm thinking a few years ago.
No, it was recent.
There was someone that was on like a interview, one of the late night shows that was like, yeah, he just crashes planes like all the time. It references it keeps him young. Sacrifice to the plane gods.
Okay, it was 2015, so it was a little.
Okay, that's probably the one I'm thinking of then, because that's a little while ago.
That's when he crash landed on a golf course.
But that's not his first one.
No.
He's done it it's like his third one or something. Like, he just keeps crashing. He keeps going out to fly and crashing.
I'm looking it up because I was actually curious. Has there ever been an incident of a plane crashing into another plane? And it's history.com. Take that for what you will. Says on December 16th, 1960, 2 airplanes collide over New York City.
Okay, that's how many cars crash into each other every day?
Right, but that's one incident. And it's how do airplanes, and then down a little bit, there's a Slate article that says how do airplanes avoid each other? And it says that every plane with more than 10 seats has to have a traffic alert and collision avoidance system. So it's even like specifically, and then on top of that, there are air traffic controllers that try to make sure that they don't actually run into each other as well, that they have clear flight
no one's
paths.
anywhere near each other. Yeah.
So there's a lot going on there. But that was the 60s, yes.
Yeah. Okay, how many car accidents are on a car running into another car? Like, most of them?
Like 90% of them? 95%?
Like, it's got to be a significant chunk. So
that's why it's like, I don't think, they talk about, why don't we have flying cars? If you think about it, it's pretty obvious why we do not have flying cars.
Let's see. Because everyone would not only die, but then as they plummet to the ground, they're going to take out whatever house they land on.
Yeah. It's like, why do we not have flying cars? Be like, it's pretty obvious why we don't actually have flying cars. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's because they're nice to think about, but they are ridiculously unsafe. Ridiculously.
Well, okay. To be fair, you would probably need them to be automated. That would help.
It would have to be automated, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could maybe personal control once they're on the ground or something, but I think the flight part would have to be like, you don't get to control it while it's flying in the air. But also, I don't know, if you've ever seen like any like animated things or sci-fi things, like usually there's like lanes in the sky.
Good is Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2. When they come in, it's like all of a sudden they're going the wrong way in the
wrong way on the space highway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like anything you've ever seen, like always like Futurama. There's crisscross like grids and shit, right? Like in the sky.
Star Wars too. A lot in Star Wars on the big planets that have
Fifth Element.
That it's always
you have to have a system that regulates that and keeps people from just fucking going off wherever. And even then, you still have that, I would think, pretty legit concern of what happens if one falls out of the sky over wherever.
Over any civilized location, yeah.
Yeah, because when you're a car on the road, generally speaking, if you crash, you're still on the road or maybe like slightly off of it, but you definitely don't. I'm not saying cars have never gone into people's houses, but it's not super common. 100% of people have ended up in other people's houses in a car. Like, that's for sure happened, but yeah.
It's still something that is not going to be in our lifetime anytime. We're only starting to see work on self-driving cars, and that's going spectacularly.
It actually is, because I saw that.
Well, yeah, that's the joke behind that, is that it actually is, but it's not.
It's going
but
pretty
it
good.
is,
That police
but
pulled over a car and it didn't have a driver, and then like it stopped and they got out to go to it and then it drove away.
The car drove away, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. There was no one in it. There was no one in it at all. I don't know what the fuck was going on with it, where it was supposed to be going.
I think I read that. I think it was one of those. It was a service that the car had where the person parked the car, and then they got out wherever they were, and they were able to like summon the car to themselves, basically.
So Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
You can do that in Cyberpunk, the video game.
Yeah, but sometimes, how many times do you see it where it glitches out? Or
Okay, to be fair though, when it glitches out, it usually just like falls from the sky and explodes or something.
Well, that was the point in this instant. The car did glitch out on the way. It did something. It hit another car or something.
And it got pulled over, and then the cop came up and was like, "What the fuck is this?" And the car just drove off.
And the car was just like, "Nope, I'm out." It
of
just drove away.
I saw the clip of it. I was like, "That's fucking hilarious." As the cop, you're like, "What do I do with this?"
Yeah,
There's
like,
no one to arrest.
how do we arrest the car? We can't arrest the
Okay,
car. That's not
also,
a thing. Yeah.
In a completely reverse, archaic version of the same thing, to show that this isn't just new tech issues. Monday, I dropped my kids off at school. I went to McDonald's for breakfast because I had the car, which I only have one day a week. I was listening to the radio, and they're talking about how some, I think, older, like teenager maybe, or maybe he was of age, I'm not sure, but like a younger person, they were Amish. They're in a horse and buggy, and they passed out. They're passed out in the horse and buggy with a beer next to them. The horse knows how to go home. It's essentially a self-driving car, right? It's a horse and buggy, and the horse knows where it's going. So the cops, like, they pull up next to it, and they see that the Amish kid is passed the fuck out in the buggy with a beer next to him. So they attempt to pull him over, and they can't get the horse to stop. There's a recording of him like calling it in. Hey, this Amish kid's like passed out. The horse knows how to get home. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna try and stop in front of him to see if like and then the horse slams into the police car.
You do not exist. Out of my way.
So it's so funny that this, to me, that the same incident that happens with a self-driving car can also happen with technology from like 100 years ago. It's a horse and buggy. The horse is self-driving. It's just gonna go where it knows to go, whether you're passed out in it or not.
It's just gonna go. Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious. So we've had self-driving vehicles for a long time. They're just called horses.
We just called them horses.
Home, Jeeves! I'm gonna pass out up here. It's gonna go home. That's where its food is.
Yeah, like it will make it. Of course it will.
And with a buggy, you're not gonna fall off of it. The concern would be like you fall off. You're unlikely to fall out of a buggy. That would take some work.
By the way, in looking for if there was any more soda brands, I stumbled across a website called VGSMproject.com, which stands for the Video Game Soda Machine Project, where they just take pictures of soda machines in video games.
That's awesome.
I love the internet sometimes.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I know.
And they have a category for the secret world.
Okay. How many do they have?
And it's basically like every time they found a soda machine, they took a picture of it.
Okay.
So they have one for Zagan Cola, which appears to be in the Orochi Tower.
Okay.
They have one which appears to be in the streets of Tokyo. That is, it's bingo, but actually you can see on the inside like a whole bunch of different sodas.
Okay.
I came into Tokyo. I'm going to try to find it. But it basically says on the outside, bingo. So that one's bingo. Then they have another one which appears to be in... I can't tell. There's washing machines in the background, so it might be New York. But all is just red and black. There's no, like, descript names on it. And then, of course, there's a drink bingo, and they found a bingo cola as well.
I think there's something in Tokyo. Here we go. Found it.
Sweetling.
Generic soda machine, right? It does got the laundromats in the background, or with the washing machines in the background. That's very possibly right. Screeds. Oh, there's advertisements.
Yeah, Sweetling soda.
Sweetling soda.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
It's also like bingo. Oh, I think I found them. I think I found where the over by where Faust Capital.
Okay.
Out in front of the Faust Capitol building, which is in the middle. There's 3 soda machines next to each other.
On the way.
Okay. None of the ones on the inside actually look descriptive enough to have any sort of. Can't really see on the inside of them. You might see me because I'm already here.
I do. Oh, the vending machines. Those are bingo,
Yes.
though. It says bingo.
It says bingo on it, but these, I guess, are all the different bingo brands of soda. Let me get out of your way.
They're super pixely. You can't see shit.
Yeah. There's like a green one. There
Yeah,
are.
they're just generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bomber's right. They're used for missions. I'm pretty sure Sweetling was the one I was thinking of.
We have different flavors of bingo, right? Cherry, vanilla, diet.
I can go to New York and look at the laundromat.
There's right Sweetling soda, but it's not necessarily.
I mean, it could just be a message from the buzzing.
Or is Sweetling soda just another? Is that Sprite? Basically, is it?
How dare you, sir?
I think we touched a nerve.
For shame.
What is this machine across the way?
It
That
is
looks
a
like
red
that
and black
machine.
machine. There's no. I don't see any markings on it.
No, that's very nondescript.
Interesting.
More generic. Or the water
Like,
cooler.
we didn't expect anyone
label.
to actually look this closely, and we're like,
Agua.
we're secret worlders. Leave us alone. We will look as close as we want. We
Dreams.
will absolutely.
Dream Cycle. The detergent is Dream Cycle detergent. It says new and improved Dream Cycle detergent.
Like Davies olives or Davies. Davies. I don't know.
I think it's Davies. But yeah, here's another one. There's multiple of these red and black ones, but they're not interactive.
Get my backup flash drive.
Made him shit his backup flash drive. Weird nonfiction. The Dead Walk in New England. You don't
That's
say.
that's a classic one. But now what can I see if I take a look at, since I'm still in Tokyo, if I go to one of these kiosks, there's a surprising amount that's in Japanese, as it should be because it's Tokyo, except potato chips. They're just these giant boxes that just say potato chips on them.
I don't know if I ever noticed this Orochi poster. Everything is true. The new history. The 21st century and the end of magic. Who rules the secret rulers? The fourth age. Samuel Chandra, devil or god. The rise and rise of the Orochi group. I think my brain always filled out rise and fall, but it's the rise and rise. That's not how that goes.
It's true that's not how that goes. That could actually potentially be now this is going to be a deep cut. So I don't know how much the people who made that may have been theater fans, but there is a straight play by Peter Parnell called The Rise and Rise of Daniel Rocket. And it's all about it's all about a kid who basically thinks that he can fly, and then it's basically supposed to be about little kids on the playground, basically.
Right.
And this kid's like, he can fly, and everyone's, oh, can he fly? And blah, 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 blah. And it's like adults, but playing kids, essentially. And it's never really explicitly said whether he can actually fly or not. But I believe that's Peter Parnell.
I believe I can play
Rise and Rise of Daniel Rocket, book by Peter Parnell. Look at that.
the doctor.
Shit, my memory works
The
for once.
doctor is in.
One of them, Daniel Rocket, is firmly convinced that he can fly, a belief that causes him to be shunned and ridiculed by his schoolmates.
Isn't there a movie like that?
There's the Rocketeer.
No, a kid thinks he can fly. He's always standing on the fucking roof of his house. He's always up there like he thinks he can fly. It's something to do with like his parents dying, and he always was like, if he could have flown, he could have flown to save them or some shit. It's like a 80s movie or something.
Actually, there's a V for this.
You could use some adjustments.
It may have been like a movie. They may have made it into a movie.
I think so. It sounds super familiar. That
Yeah.
one kind of. It's
Says-
really old, but it stuck with me.
Hour and a half. Episode aired January 20th, 1986 of American Playhouse,
My great grandfather was the inspiration for Dr. Frankenstein.
which aired on PBS.
Mary Shelley, that thieving little
So maybe they made it into a movie? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, no, the first thing I think of is but that's obscure. That's like that is an obscure reference. To reference a 1980s straight play by Peter Parnell. That's a little more obscure than even I would expect them to do on purpose. But that's why I hedge and say it could be a reference. But is it? I don't really. I'm not actually sure I believe that it's a reference. Yeah, so aside from the other flavors of bingo, which we know exist through, and then Sweetling Soda, but Sweetling Soda maybe not is another brand.
It might just be a message from the.
It could just be a message, but it could also just be a different flavor.
I don't think it's a different flavor. That I don't think. I don't think it's a bingo flavor or a Zagan flavor. I think it doesn't make sense it would be a Zagan flavor. That doesn't fly. And not really for the bingo either, considering the Morning Light's tied to bingo and the fact that you ever seen what crawls out of a saucepan when you boil? I tend to think the Sweetling Soda is either a different soda altogether, or maybe even more likely, it's just a billboard that like a secret worlder would see that just gets a message to you from the bees, like, hurry, stop dicking around in Tokyo and actually go do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's probably more like that.
A message from Gaia itself, in a way. As we've learned, Morning Light is basically it's certainly not the anti-Orochi. They both have whatever, but they're
they're a splinter technically.
They're like a splinter, yeah. Where one is more controlled by
Lilith made them, but then Philip Markard stole them.
Yes.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
I think we're past the point of a spoiler warning. It's been how many years?
We're a little past that.
I'm just throwing it out there after we already said it, so it doesn't really help.
True, yeah. It's more of either way, they're both not on the up and up, essentially. It comes down to. I love how it's just they're both soda brands. It's like thinking, Coke and Pepsi, but both of them are basically entities controlling power beyond our imagination, which isn't necessarily wrong. Hey, Zen.
Do we have any other stuff?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Want to go over?
A lot of stuff from Metal Hellsinger came out.
Yeah, that's cool.
They basically released a statement saying that Serj Tankian of System of a Down, I'm not pronouncing that correctly, confirmed as joining the lineup for Metal Hellsinger, along with 8 other metal artists, which they already have going for it. And remember, we were told specifically, because I remember when they first announced Metal Hellsinger, we were like, hey, if streaming games is a big thing these days, and you're basically making a game that's all about music.
Right.
Are we able to play it on stream?
What's going on with this? And they basically said that...
They said we're trying.
Right, they said we're trying. But they also said that they're like, we're going to make sure that we own all the rights to it, and it's going to be okay for them to be streamed, essentially.
Yeah, now, to that end, so far, because I joined the Discord today.
Okay.
For the official one for Metal Hellsinger. So, in the FAQ and info, will I be able to stream the game? We'll have more to announce about this soon.
I think there's going to be like 2 different like music tracks or soundtracks. Is the one with all the music that like Serj and everybody else, and then it's probably a DMCA free, royalty free track listing that you can be able to play on stream.
For now, rest assured, we're doing all there is in our hands to make it as friendly as possible.
Okay.
And then will there be a way to get or listen to the soundtrack separately? We're aware this is something all of you would love to have, and we're working on investigating options for it to happen. However, we don't have anything we can announce either way just yet. Stay tuned.
They're working on it.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned that they just don't say yes to streaming the game.
Yeah.
that we'll have more to announce soon. Like I
Mhm.
know they know it's a big deal, and I know they want it to be something you can do. But the fact that as of right now, because this post, by the way, is from yesterday,
Okay.
so this is a super
They're
recent
like,
post.
right. So will we be able to actually stream this? Something that is generally widely important for new games these days. And especially
Yeah.
they're getting the word out that they exist and that they're very lucrative. Maybe not lucrative, maybe that's not the best word, but it's definitely within game companies' best interests to actively have games that are capable of being streamed, that you would actually want this and you would do what you can to not hinder this ability.
Yeah, I remember talking with Tasha about that like forever ago. Like I brought that up, recall, and definitely was aware of it. And it was something they were looking into. So it sounds like they're still looking into it. I'm just a little concerned that given how long it's been and the fact that it looks like they're getting closer,
But they're not actually able to just say yes.
they're not able to. They're going to announce something soonish. And I'm just like, I would have hoped for more. That's all I'm saying. I would have hoped for more.
What it's going to be, looking it up, I just saw this now. What it's going to be is instead of a metal track, you're going to be able to stream it, but it's just going to be yakety sax.
I don't think that's true.
Or a whole bunch of
It'll be lo-fi stream beats. Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
So there's an article that someone wrote because the embargo was lifted. So some people were able to share their thoughts. So there's an article, but I think also I'm trying to find it. I think there was a video somewhere. Now I can't find it in my Twitter feed. But I swear there was a German.
Oh, hang on.
A German video somewhere.
Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I found it. No, that's the 12 minutes of gameplay. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, this is from IGN.
Hold on, I'll give you this link here.
So from Tech Raptor? No.
No, okay. No. Hold on. Just hold on. I'll give it to you.
Come
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Just fucking hold on, man.
Just stop flipping out, man.
Jesus.
Just take a chill pill, dude.
Oh, let me pause this one. I was enjoying that one.
Relax. So this is a German person that got to try it, and they're actually playing it, and also with a wig.
I was gonna say, is that a wig? That looks like.
If you go to the beginning, you see him put it on. I'm pretty sure.
It looks like if Doom was a rhythm game, that is exactly what they say.
That's basically
There was an article by Joseph Yaden of Inverse, which was retweeted by the Metal Hellsinger account. Basically said it's totally a metal mashup of Doom and Rock Band.
So
he said
Sorry, go ahead.
He said rather than spam the fire button, you have to drift into a zen-like state of flow, only shooting when it makes sense to musically, which we already knew, but
yeah.
But I like that concept of it. You get to be in like a zen-like state of metal.
Yeah. So there's the first bit is the intro, and then according to the YouTube like chapters on it, there's a tutorial section he plays through. And then there's a shit ton of gameplay like later through it.
And apparently this is just the demo that they released for preview.
Yeah.
So
I like him go. That's so cool. He's doing pretty good. His multiplayer is like at 16. Oh. 16 and going up.
He's doing it to the beat. Not every beat, obviously, but it's still to the beat.
Yeah, you have to do it to the beat, but you don't have to hit everything.
I feel like this game is going to basically hit a lot of people. It's niche, but I feel like it's going to hit a lot of people's niche.
Yeah.
We had a discussion a year ago with what was it? It's a Bullet something. It was another game similar to this style.
Yeah.
That is you're firing at the beats of the music.
Yeah, that seemed to kind of be a thing at the time.
Yeah, so I think that one already came out. I'm pretty sure. The
Crypt
thing is,
of the Necro Dancer. Is that familiar?
No, Bullet Storm was it? Or
it's Bulletstorm. Yeah.
Well, Crypt of the Necro Dancer wasn't Bullet, but it was still like every step you take was to a beat.
Bulletstorm was closer, but Bulletstorm still was missing some of the, I think, higher end differences that Metal Hellsinger is supposed to have. So like one of the things that's different is in Metal Hellsinger, you have a bass track, and then as you stay in that Zen state and your combo multiplier keeps going up, you unlock more layers of the music.
Oh yeah.
So it's like
the music evolves as you,
and then as you go up, you're gonna get like more instruments and more layers, and at the high end you get vocals. Like you basically, if you're in fucking like Terminator mode,
16x like that guy is, yeah.
Yeah, like you get vocals. So it just builds. The better you do, the more impressive the music gets. Whereas Bulletstorm was, this is the music, period, right? Here's this fucking electro synth track. Now shoot to the beat. Is a much simpler version. Also, I think your reloads count as, I think you want to reload to the beat as well. Ideally, if I recall correctly, which seems counterintuitive, like that you figure you would want to reload when you need to reload, but I think you're supposed to reload to the beat as well. Literally I'm pretty sure everything you do should fall on the beat track. It should fall on the beat, not just the shooting. Is my understanding, my recollection of it. So you're just constantly trying to.
Now he's still keeping up 16x.
He's doing good. But notice when he's not doing anything, it slowly falls down.
It slowly falls, yeah.
Yeah.
So it also keeps you moving. So you're not just.
It went from 16 to, what was that, 8?
8, yeah.
Just like fucking drop.
That's, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 probably. Just.
Oh, you think it just doubles?
Yeah.
Because we should see, right? We should see it climb.
I think it only climbs when he does stuff to the beat, and then you get that nice little.
Yeah, you're constantly trying to keep your meter up.
Yeah, it just went from 8 to 16.
Yeah, you're right. It doubles.
Which again is a huge. If it just went from 8 to 9, that's not too big of an incentive. But 8 to 16 is a huge incentive.
But I think it's also right here. You can.
Do you have the audio actually playing for this?
Yeah.
Can they? Okay. we can't.
Because we can't hear.
We're like, this is awesome.
I mean, I can see what's happening.
Yeah. But a lot of good stuff about Metal Hellsinger, but that's because, as I said, the preview embargo was lifted. People who have previewed it can talk about it.
Easy. Ah, shit. Okay, mit dem.
No Vacaneer is coming.
Ah, haben wir.
Chaos ain't quiet.
Richtig, was kommt als nächstes? Neuer Track?
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I was just watching this. I'm just like, yeah.
It looks awesome. The only thing is that I'm not a big metal fan, so.
I'm not either, but just the music that's playing right now, it just sucks you in. It's
But that's what it's supposed to be feeling like. It's supposed to be as what's his name said in the article, it was Joseph Yaden. He said that you're supposed to basically enter a Zen-like state with the music in order to really get the most out of it. That seems to be very true.
Yeah, it's like, it's just listening to it. Every shot goes along with the drums. It's like, and it's just, you're just getting into the beat and the rhythm of it.
That's like if you really want to play it to its full extent and get the most out of it, you will go into almost a trance, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, then it's right. So it's right there. Everything's kind of muffled because you had some hit.
Oh.
Malwarebyte's pissed.
Doppelsprung.
Website blocked. They have not. Of course, they have not announced a release date yet.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Und Mädels, ich habe keine Ahnung, ob sowas.
They announced on our show back in December. There was a Level Infinite, a new brand under Tencent created to delivering high-quality games to a global audience. This is Level Infinite. I completely forgot about that. But Level Infinite lineup will be further bolstered with several studios self-publishing their own titles, including Warhammer Vermintide 2, Vampire the Masquerade, TFO from 10 Chambers, now in early access on Steam, and Metal Hellsinger. Coming to PC and consoles in 2022. Along with, at this point, it was a new game from Funcom debuting at the Game Awards. So that was... What game was debuted at the Game Awards?
Conan Chop Chop? Well, I think Metal Hellsinger was...
I'm like...
No, it was Dune. Dune Spice Wars.
It was Dune Spice Wars, that's what it was.
They had a trailer. The first release of the trailer.
That was announced at the 2021 Game Awards in late December. It really didn't take too long on that one, from announcement to development. or from announcement to
Da könnte ich
early access release. Experienced something similar to this in. Sorry, because I didn't quite see that. I've experienced something similar to this in Sunset Overdrive, and damn it, now I want to play Sunset Overdrive again.
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that the game that?
Ich konzentriere mich kaum.
It's not Bulletstorm, it's something different. But
Okay.
I assume it's similar in the fact that it's a music game, is what I'm guessing.
Okay, so at least from that, they said that it's a 2022 release for this.
Achso, ja, das.
Probably late fall, my guess.
Mensch, Leute. Fast 6 Millionen.
He played up the character well, but
Yeah.
but he also did pretty good. So
Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to that. I DM'd Tasha, I haven't heard back, so I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand about the metal. See if I can get Metal Hellsinger.
to get into this preview,
Yeah.
you mean, or
Yeah, when she first posted up on Twitter, if you're interested,
like
DM me.
we're not a publishing outlet, Waffle.
So,
Yeah, but come on.
content creator.
I don't know. I have a friend of mine who has I don't want to call it small necessarily because I don't know necessarily his audience size, but from what I can tell, it's just basically a tech blog, just like a small tech blog where he just, even with just like a small tech blog that he just started, that he has gotten all kinds of stuff from that as press passes into like PAX East and sent all kinds of tech from wherever so he could try it, just so he could write up like an article about it on like just his blog, just his. And it's apparently
Yeah, I'm
you don't have to
actually
be the biggest publication in the
No.
world. You just basically have to have something more established and write about it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing with a lot of the indie games as well, because I've been doing those for the past couple months, trying to
Okay.
get into that, and been getting a lot of good stuff coming in. So I'm like, okay. With my schedule, how I use a ClickUp, and I got all my scheduling set up, and I'm got booked for the next couple months of stuff I got coming up.
Okay. And oddly enough, I actually do have a gaming blog that goes back a couple of years, but that's gathering dust. I haven't done anything with that. I really
brush it off. Brush off.
part of
that
me is
dust.
like, maybe I should just to try to get free stuff, but the other part of me is, but why would I be doing it just for free stuff? That doesn't
Yeah. It's not.
it doesn't jive
Probably just
nicely
be
with
cheaper to buy the thing.
right. And also part of me is, but would I be giving what I think is a fair review of something if they hand it to me for free?
I don't know. I don't know if you would.
I see, that's the thing is, I think I would. I think I'd be like, I don't care if they gave it to me for free. I would still tell what I honestly think about it.
That's how I am
But then
with
there-
V Rising. I got part of the creator program with that, so I got a key for it, and I just had a key for. It was able to give away a key and the DLC, which was like $40, or actually it's like a $60 package for free. I'm like, okay. They give away these little things that you can either. It's a good thing that they give it away to you to pass along to whoever is part of your community, to help
That's like what
spread
did we
the
just do that with? We did
awareness.
we did it with Conan Shop.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch of codes for Conan Chop Chop and we gave those away.
Yeah.
But the copies of Conan Chop Chop that we played, we
Oh.
bought ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I bought 2.
Yeah.
I bought it on the Switch as well.
And it's partially just because we want this company that makes this game that we really like to stay afloat, and so we want to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
There's a little bit of self-interest there.
Yeah, it's still relatively a self-interest, but it's in a way that's not just like,
hey, we cover your games. Give us free stuff.
yeah, it's not.
We don't
like,
have
and
that
then they'll turn around and
mentality.
be like, yeah, we didn't ask you to do that.
No. What was it that Andy and Nicole used to say is go and buy Arum years ago?
Okay.
Go buy Orem.
Yeah, go buy Arum to help support.
Yeah.
That was way before Conan Chop, or not Conan Chop Chop. Wow, Conan Exiles came around. Secret World was the only thing that was available, or was being actively.
Basically, one of their only
Worked
real
on.
sources of revenue.
Yeah, they moved far past that now. They're like, whatever.
They've got a lot going on now, yeah, between Conan Exiles and whatnot. Good for them. Maybe someday we'll see more Secret World stuff. I'm just saying.
I have news. I have terrible news. No, I have news.
Okay.
Good news, everyone.
Yes. I finally hit E4 on my hot sauce character,
Okay.
and I did the 10 scenarios in a row to get the gadget that I needed on E4. Because that was the whole point, by the way.
That was the whole
Did-
point
did
of
you
getting
doing
the
that?
E4, right?
I can pull this up. The whole point was, and it was Seek and Preserve E4. You 10 of them, you get the Effigy 033 Reconstructor, which is arguably the best healing gadget in the game. It does actually have it on this character. It heals you for 1.5% of your maximum health each second for 10 seconds. That's a massive heal. But also, it's percentage based. And
So
considering the damage from the hot sauce is percentage based, it's a pretty good balance. That just makes sense. So anyways, due to help from a bunch of people, I think Bomber a bit, Old Average Joe, Drenith, and a shit ton of help from the Anchor, just grinding dungeons. I made it
E4.
And then I spent like most of the stream Tuesday, did 10 E4 scenarios in a row to get the gadget. And then
But wait,
was
there's
like,
more.
I got the gadget. I got to try this shit out. I was able to finish the side mission in Scorched Desert that I had not been able to finish.
Nice. Okay.
The King of the Hill one with the orb at the top of the map, where you have to get the Orochi crates and use the mines and stuff to defeat the waves of mummies.
Yes.
I believe I had to use one health potion, and the rest was just that gadget keeping me alive while
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good gadget. So, worth it.
The difference it made was spectacular.
Completed that side mission, which made me get 100% completion for Scorched Desert. So, check box, tick. And then the Orochi mission to go into Transylvania. Completed it. Didn't die. I think I think I had to use 2 health potions, maybe.
I was going to say, not once.
I don't know if I had to. I did it out of, like, safety. It wasn't like I was, like, 2 seconds away from dying. It was more like I was down below half health, and I was like, I have a health potion, I might as well use it and give myself a buffer. But, yeah, like, I don't even have a time and space signet. Like, that's, like, with a 30-second cooldown.
Just with that alone.
Yeah, that alone was enough to get me through that mission. So currently, I haven't done any missions yet in Besieged Farmlands, but my character is in Besieged Farmlands. I entered Besieged Farmlands and ended the stream. So when I next pick up, it's just going to be business as usual. Try and 100% the rest of the game, which is Transylvania, Tokyo, and South Africa.
Awesome.
I think I could be not remembering something, but off the top of my head, the only thing I'm currently super potentially worried about is Nightmare in the Dream Palace.
And why is that?
Because
I mean, I know it's a pretty wicked mission in the first place.
I don't believe you have access to your abilities in there. I don't think I can heal in there.
Huh, okay.
Like, you're drunk, and then you go, you fight the Oni. Or no, you fight, let's see. You fight the cook, and then I think you fight the Oni, and then you fight the Yakuza guys that make you dance around, and then you do the dance-off, and you pay it. I believe at no point in there do you have access to your ability bar.
Huh.
Think you can access your gadget.
I was saying, but can you access gadgets or can you access potions?
Potions for sure. I think you can access your gadget. I'm not positive, but I think so. In which case, I'll be able to heal with the healing gadget. So I hope that works. But that's one of the areas where I know your ability bar goes away. So I'm like, that's a spot of concern. I'm not sure if there's any other missions in Transylvania itself. Okay, in Transylvania, you have that mission where you turn into a Deathless, but you also have a heal ability as a Deathless.
Okay.
Like, when you're a Deathless, when you turn into them for that mission, you have a heal ability. Because the Deathless can heal themselves.
But can the Deathless drink hot sauce?
That's actually a good question. But if they can't, that's not my fault. Right?
That's not your problem, right?
That's a game problem. So
that's what I'm thinking of. If you can't use all your abilities, there's also a chance that you might not be able to actually drink the hot sauce.
So far that hasn't been the case. So far, I keep drinking hot sauce no matter what. So I don't anticipate that being any different because it's like taking a potion. I don't think it stops you from doing it. I don't think. It might look weird. I actually don't know. To be fair, I haven't been turned into anything else yet. It takes away your bar, but I haven't actually been turned into another thing yet. And the Deathless one turns you into another model.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how that's going to work. That'll be interesting.
It'll be an experiment.
But it
That's
does
basically
give you. But what I'm saying is, the problem with turning in like your ability bar being swapped is I usually don't have a heal ability, so I end up dying. Whereas the Deathless actually has a heal ability on their bar, so I should be fine.
Mhm.
I'm not super worried about that because either I'll be able to heal myself, or the hot sauce won't even be able to be drank. In which case, I just do the mission and then when it's done. So that's not a big deal. I can't think of anything else, but it doesn't mean there's
some.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of
Some
missions in Transylvania.
Yeah.
There's just a shit ton of them. So there could be something I'm not thinking of, but at least for right now, it's the only one I can think of. Oh, I guess technically in South Africa, the boxing one will be funny because I'll be dying, but you're supposed to lose that anyways.
That's a scripted event.
No, there's an achievement for lasting longer. There is an achievement for lasting a certain amount of time versus him, but that's not necessary to progress the story, so I don't think it'll matter. Like, I can just lose really quickly and then that should be fine. But yeah, anytime you have boxing gloves, you can't. I shouldn't say that. I think that's actually not true. You have a defense ability that I believe heals you. So might be okay anyways. Maybe.
If you don't survive that,
yeah,
fight, it's not like you're still not 100%ing it.
Yeah, for sure. But actually, I think you do. Your defense button, I think, does actually heal you. So I shouldn't die from the hot sauce there. I'm trying to think about any other. I don't know. I don't think anywhere in Tokyo. The only thing in Tokyo I can think of that robs you of your health bar is the music part, but that you can just turn off and on. When you're trying to find Ricky Pagan's crew, then nothing penalizes you from turning the boombox off, healing yourself, and turning it back on. That doesn't matter. I think also, by the way, I'm E4 now, so the rest of the zones, combat-wise, should be fairly easy.
No, it should be relatively cake.
Yeah, there's no reason that Transylvania enemies should be hard for me. I'm fucking E4. That said, my next signet is garbage. It's just there for IP. It's like a pistol signet.
Okay.
And I'm not pistol. It's literally just there to artificially up my item power so I can get into E4, which might bite me a little bit when it comes to Tank Commander, because Tank Commander scales to your item power.
Maybe, but maybe by then you can replace it? Or it scales to your max item power.
It goes to your max item power. Probably I could, if I take it out and then just start upping my item power back to that number, I should be okay, I think.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But I would have to take it out first, because if I just keep leveling shit with it in there, then my item power just keeps going up.
And your item power will still be, artificially raised.
Yeah, I need to take it out and then start replacing that missing amount.
Out of memory? What are you talking about?
But yeah, that's the funny part. I have a peculiar box already.
Nice.
In fact, I think I've gotten 2, but you can only hold 1. So you get that notification that's like, peculiar box, limited item, you can only hold 1. I've literally had 2 drop for that character.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how many dungeons I was running. I got at least 2, maybe 3, for sure 2, 100% 2, because I have 1 and I got the notification once. I think I might have gotten the notification twice. So yeah, blue chest is what it is, by the way. Blue chest in Dungeons and Lairs are most likely to give you that peculiar box.
Okay.
That's your highest chance of getting it. But yeah, so I'm super stoked that I get to now finish the run. I'm not just stuck in run limbo. That took an incredible amount of effort and time. And I already have a plan for the next run that I'm not going to tell you about.
I was going to say, are you going to spoil it or?
Nope.
No, of course
But
not.
I will say...
He did a little teaser.
I will say, I'm so excited I already made a thumbnail for it.
Nice. Okay.
I have made artwork for the upcoming run because the idea came to me and I was like, this is cool. I want to do this. I think this is neat, but I don't want to spoil it. And I still have Transylvania, Tokyo, and South Africa.
You still got a ways to go.
Yeah. So I don't want to spoil it that soon because I'm probably at least a month off. I imagine, if not more, depending on how many days because Transylvania in particular is pretty dense. Which is so weird. It's so light to get through story wise.
Yeah.
But if you're just doing the storyline, you're like, doo-doo. But if you're 100%ing Transylvania, oh my god. It
has some of the game's most famous missions.
It's very dense. There's just a fuck ton of missions and side missions across all 3 maps. I think arguably Tokyo is a dense map, but it's only one. It's only one map that's dense. Whereas like Transylvania's 3 maps that are all dense. But oddly, oppositely, like super light when it comes to what's mandatory for the story. Like you can just breeze through Transylvania in 30 minutes if you're not doing a 100% run.
I remember that in Secret World Prime. That
Prime.
Optimus Prime, Secret World Prime.
No, this is Prime. That was Alpha.
Beta.
I'm going.
Oh, you're going to trigger some people.
Going even before.
I'm going by the Machine Tyrant names in Hellfire.
Okay.
Because one of them's Prime and one of them's Alpha. And it's like, this is the stupidest naming convention ever. They mean the same fucking thing.
But one was before the other.
Oh yeah? Which one comes first, Prime or Alpha?
Why not both?
They're both beginning.
Why not both?
I fucking hate that. And they did the it was like a I don't even think it's on accident. It's literally like a recurring theme in the Hellfallen dungeon. Because the bosses at the end are like Gog, Magog, and the Ascendant. It's like, which one do I kill first, Gog or Magog? I don't know. They're off by 2 letters. And Machine Tyrants, which one do you kill first, Prime or Alpha? I don't know, the first one. Which one's first?
First one. Which one?
It's the one on the right.
They can't just name it first and second, I
As
guess.
far as words that are like synonymous, Prime and Alpha are pretty fucking synonymous with each other. Yeah, anyways, that's my rant about fucking names in Hellfallen. I feel like, given the fact that there's Gog and Magog, we don't see it in Legends because we don't have Nightmare, but in TSW, the Nightmare version, you had Gog and Magog. It's just, so whenever you're like in a dungeon and you're supposed to kill them in a certain order, it's really tough to figure out which one are you talking about? Which one am I supposed to shoot? And the same problem with Prime and Alpha. You're like, oh, we need to switch from this one to that one. Wait, which one? Because even though they're spelled differently, it's just they mean the same thing. They mean like first or main. Like they couldn't have, if they just called them Machine Tyrant Alpha and Omega, I'd have been like, great, got it, thanks.
And you think that would be more of a thing to use, only because that's more of a known reference?
Yeah. But Alpha and Prime, fuck off. You're just being a dick now. You're literally just being a dick.
Alpha, Prime, and First. And you're like, God dang it. Who's in charge here? I want to talk to their
Prime
manager.
And the one. Kill the first one. Which one? Because that was common. You'd say kill the first one. Okay, there's Alpha and Prime. Which is the first one? Can you tell me that, please?
They both are.
They both
Not
are.
helpful.
Also, that fight on Nightmare, which again we don't have in Legends, was super like impair heavy. Like a lot of times you'd have a second person bringing impairs. Really good tanks could solo impair it. It was like a point of pride, but like most groups had someone else bringing impairs because you needed so many and they had to be timed perfect between the 2 targets. And like knowing when to impair Prime or Alpha, it's really.
I guess it could have been worse. They could have had them the same first letter. Gog. Well, even that.
Yeah, Gog and Magog ended the same. That was the problem with them.
They end with the same, right?
Yeah, because if they're on your screen and like the little name bar gets cut off, you just see Gog and Gog. You're like, God damn it!
Like, which one is which? Like, we're not telling you.
I will say the plus side of running the dungeons is I did most of the dungeons already. So like I don't have to do the dungeon in Shadowy Forest, for example. I already did it a shit ton of times. Because you don't have to be level 50 to do Hell Eternal. You don't have to actually have been in Besieged Farmland or Shadowy Forest.
Fair. Okay.
Like you just queue. You're level 50. You can queue for a dungeon. There's only so many elite dungeons. So like, I already have the achievement for the dungeon. And I did, even though it's not an elite dungeon, I already did Facility just because I could queue for it. So I was like, I'll just do it. See if I can do it. I don't think I did Slaughterhouse yet.
Okay.
But given that I'm E4, I don't anticipate that to be a problem. I think story mode Slaughterhouse on E4 should be fine. Also, I was really bummed when I got to E3 and realized I couldn't do the faction mission because faction missions don't actually unlock until after Tokyo. Because I was thinking in my head, like, I hit E3, I'm like, oh, I could do faction missions to hit E4 faster. Oh. I was like, there's nothing at the Paragon board. God damn it.
Boo-zoo.
Because I was like thinking, oh, that'll make it go faster. But no.
So, but a side point, if anyone is curious, if anyone likes good things to play as far as video game type things, which I assume we all are, at the Game Store this week, as they put up until next week, the entire BioShock series. Pointing that out there just because it's just a straight up, like, really?
Yeah, I already got my copies there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I already have all of them.
I already have all of them
BioShock?
too.
I had the first one or the remastered one, but I didn't have the later version or the later sequels. I don't have those.
I had all of them. I had all the DLC that went along with them as well. So this is just a repeat for me. Still though,
That's
Where's
a good
it at?
value.
Still though, it's a great series. It's a great series. It's a great value.
Where was it located again?
Epic Game Store.
Oh, the Epic Game Store. Right.
Yes. Last week, which is it's already passed, but last week it was Borderlands 3 they were giving away. So they're in the middle of we're giving away really good stuff right now. Sort of thing to watch out for. Because even they say, because usually they have, it's not like, I like watching out for free stuff. I pick up a whole bunch of the free games. And bless you.
Bless you.
All right. I thought I muted. My bad.
I saw you sneeze on mute.
Yeah, and I unmuted, and for some reason I thought I muted again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But they had, usually they'll tell you what the next game is. Usually be like, this is what we're giving away this week. This is what we're giving away next week. But in this case, their next week is a mystery game.
I think this one was too.
This one was a mystery game as well, yeah.
Yeah, next week is going to be mystery.
Which means that next week is probably going to be just as good.
Likely, right? That would just make sense.
The way that's been going for these past couple weeks, we have Borderlands 3. This was the BioShock series.
The entire BioShock series, Borderlands 3, and who knows what after that.
It's not going to be Mass Effect.
Oh, like the Mass Effect trilogy? I hope so, because I'm missing Mass Effect 3, and that's the next Mass Effect I have to play. And the only way to play Mass Effect 3 is apparently by playing it through the trilogy.
If you have Game Pass, it's available there.
Is it?
Yeah, Mass Effect the Legendary Edition, where it's all of them. I think. Yeah, that's where you can find it.
I'll maybe look into that when I'm actually like ready to play it. When I'm like, oh, you know what I can go for? The next Mass Effect, taquitos. I can really go for some taquitos.
I got a couple of games. I got so much stuff I want to do.
Always. Too much stuff.
I want to finish the hot sauce run. I've got a new idea for another run. I just picked up on some pretty good sales. I got Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Nice.
And Watchdog Legion. And I want to play both of those.
Okay, yeah.
And then, of course, there's all my Steam backlog, which is fucking crazy. I don't even know why I'm buying new games. It's on sale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to stop doing the Humble Bundle stuff because I'm like, I got so many games I don't touch.
The Humble Bundles. Yeah, forget it.
I did cancel the Humble Bundle, but the Assassin's Creed and Watchdog were from Humble. Just went on because you can go see what's on sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the monthly thing anymore, but I went to see what was on sale, and yeah, they had Valhalla like super cheap.
Yeah, I got so many games. I'm like, I'm not going to use them. I'm like, I did one time where I was giving stuff away.
100%, I will play Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not an Assassin's Creed game I have not played. So I will.
Well, you used to do all the. You did a whole series of the different Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah, but even before I was streaming, I played the shit out of the Assassin's Creed games. Like even when I was like hardcore into TSW back in the day, like a raiding every day, I took like 3-day break to fucking burn through an Assassin's Creed game at a blistering pace, and then came back to TSW. Like I like the story. I feel like they've gotten super Ubisoft, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
There's too much shit to do. It's all remember, I don't know if you recall or saw like all the hate from like Ubisoft developers about how successful Elden Ring has been, because they're like the opposite of a Ubisoft open world game. No UI. There's nothing telling you what to go do. Whereas Ubisoft open world games are all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same. and they have 5 million checklists of shit to do, and your map is covered with pins, and I need Elden World, go explore. And
Yeah,
get
they're
your
like, you want to
cash
find stuff? You got to go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was shit on Twitter with the developers like throwing shade at Elden Ring and getting pissy that it was doing so well. Because, quote, they're doing things wrong. I'm like, yeah, but guess what? You might say they're doing it wrong, but everyone likes it, so fuck you. They literally were pissy that people were liking the game because it
How
didn't meet,
dare
it
they?
didn't meet their idea of like how UX or UI should be. And I'm like, you're wrong. You're subjectively wrong, and you're possibly objectively wrong, because if what you said was true, then they wouldn't be doing well. The problem is you've decided to set these things in stone that don't need to be and shouldn't be.
Right.
Like,
they're like, we've done so much testing and found blah, 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 blah. And yeah, but sometimes people just really don't being held by the hand.
It's not even being held by the hand. They like straight up said in one of their tweets that like, if you're not funneling a player, handcuffing them toward a thing, you're doing it wrong. I'm like, well, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're like, no.
No. Elden Ring does not care. If you come across an NPC tied to a wall and decide, I'm going to cut his head off, go for it. You don't get to do that quest now. That's the thing. People, okay, here's the thing I think is funny. People like, oh, I missed a quest. Yeah, that's why its replayability is so great. Because you can go play it again. You can play Elden Ring like a dozen times and it be super different every single time. Especially if you're not using guides or anything. If you're just like, oh, I want to do this different than last time.
Because you just find all kinds of different stuff.
You just find random shit. And you can do it in like massively different order as well. I had a friend that was streaming it online as well. And like we did shit in massively different orders. Encounter things in massively different ways. And it changes how you experience it.
Is it also like I remember seeing a video from someone who was playing like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and they got to a point and they had completed, I don't know, 80% of the game, and they got to a point that was like, in this dungeon, this is how you block things, and this is how you reflect something. And they were like, excuse me? This is a tutorial dungeon? Did I not just play 80% of the game and now you're giving me a tutorial dungeon? And they were like, and it was like here's an obvious attack and this is how you block it. And they were like, I can block that?
You play the whole game and don't know a certain function?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've experienced that kind of shit with Elden Ring. There was shit I didn't know how it worked.
Though. That's amazing.
There was shit I didn't know on the third playthrough where I was like, wait, what is this? There's a dungeon in Elden Ring that if you beat it and then keep going, like you beat the boss room, and instead of leaving, if you progress forward, you follow a tunnel and come out on an island. That's the only way to get there. You can't traverse the water in Elden Ring. If it's more than like ankle deep, you can't swim or nothing. So like the only way to get to this island is to beat the boss of the dungeon off the coast, and then there's like an underground tunnel that goes under the water and comes up in the island. It's right near the starting area. Tons of people never hit that shit until they're like way into the game, and you come back and you're like, wait, what? Or even on a second playthrough or something, like, there's an island here? What the fuck? Now, but that said, so all that was like Elden Ring versus like Ubisoft. That said, I want to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla because in spite of Ubisoft over fucking doing everything in the later Assassin's Creed games, 100%. I played them all. Yes, they are overdone as shit. That said,
I've always loved the concept of here is like a point of history, and here are people from that history.
Yeah.
Go murder them.
Yeah. Go forth and murder. But I added like
here are people at pivotal points of history, and they ended up dying. Like these are people that died in mysterious circumstances or something.
The collectibles. They added resource farming. They added ships and sailing, so you upgrade your boat. They added like recruiting people and sending out your own squads on missions.
That's very Assassin's Creed, yeah. But
I'm saying like before you just went and you murdered people in sync with the memory you're trying to, and now they just added like over the games, they just kept adding and adding. And then in the Egypt one, they added like RPG, like RPG elements, like upgrading your armor, upgrading your weapons, upgrading your abilities. Things took points. You know what I mean? Instead of just knifing someone in the back of the head or the throat, like now you're like upgrading your armor and upgrading your weapon, and then unlocking abilities and upgrading different abilities. Had a whole tree system. I don't know what Valhalla has. It probably is some of the same bullshit, but regardless, I like the story, so I pushed through all that shit to get to the part of why I started playing it in the first place. Nothing they've done so far has made it so I don't want to at least fight through to see the story. Like, I used to 100% the games. I don't do that anymore. I don't care. It's a bunch of... I'm not going to fucking kill rabbits and wolves for 15 hours to, like, unlock an achievement. Like, you can go fuck yourself.
I might 70% a game. I might 80% a game. 100%ing.
I'm a big completionist person, but like when you start putting in shit for the sake of putting in shit, just feel like you're dicking with me, and now I don't want to do it. Like that.
You're literally just putting it in to extend the time for completionists.
Yeah, like Team Fortress 2, I did like, oh my god, like way too many achievements in Team Fortress 2. And then they just kept adding more. They were like, do 10,000 of this. I'm like, no, you can go to hell. To be fair,
I don't need that dopamine drip that badly.
To be fair, Sacred World Legends has a little bit of the same problem, mainly with the curios of our time. This shit is damn near unobtainable. I think, as far as I know, 2 of these I've ever seen anyone list ever. Colored Staff, and I think maybe someone had either Nasir's rifle or the crystal ball. I don't remember which one.
Right, yeah. The items that are for the whatever, and they're like, no, our drop rate for them is where we want them to be. And it's, is it though?
Is it? Because
0.00001.
2 people in the entire length of the game being fucking alive have ever seen one. I think you can go. It's got 25 points as the achievement, and your reward is the shiny version of the faction recruit. Seriously, go to hell. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Everything else is achievable. Like, the PvP ones are a little rough these days, but yeah, I don't know. It's not that bad. But like the curios of our time, like that shit is. Where'd that go? Yeah, this one.
Yeah, and the PvP ones are rough, but it's not necessarily their fault for them being rough.
And there is Saturdays.
And there is even still a concerted effort by the community to up those for people who want them anyway, by concentrating the PvP.
Yeah, I'm literally like halfway there on both of these, and if you were to get both of these, you would get this one, because this is win 200 of each, and this is win 500. Like, I have 127 wins total. No, I have 277 wins total. Sorry, 277. So I'm over halfway here. If I got this, I'd most likely have this or really close to it, because this is 400. I guess I'd be 100 off. Like, yeah, like that takes some time, but it's doable. And then I think I have a scenario one I need to get somewhere. Oh, and some dungeons. Somehow I still haven't done some of the E17 achievements.
Whereas, I'll admit this, I still have yet to actually do every single mission in the game on my main character.
Wow.
But the reason is because they're the investigation missions, and I did them in Secret World. I did them in Secret World Prime, and I'm like, yeah.
You can still do them.
That's the thing is, like, when it comes to...
I've redone them a bunch. I've done them so many times that sometimes I've actually decided to redo them without a guide and just tried to, like, not even do it from memory, but actually be like, I'm going to break the process down on stream. Like, I'm going to do it, like, the real way. You know what I mean?
Like, do it the way that they're intended to be done.
Yeah. Like, even if you know what the number should be, they're supposed to put in, how do I get there?
How do I get that number?
Let's do that. Or the one in Besieged Farmland where it's like the chemical.
It's more of a role-playing thing. It's, okay, I know this, but my character does not.
Well, to me, it's more like in this, like Besieged Farmland, right? There's one from the doctor guy, I forget his name right now. It's like the Sins of the Father guy, and the journal's like in like a chemical code. You remember that one?
Yeah, that's in where it's it has to do with like periodic table or something.
Yeah, I know where you end up. and the answer is Porphyria. Like, I know that. But how do you get there? So I literally, in one of my many playthroughs on stream, I went, fuck it, let's do this. Let's open up the diary. Let's bring up a web page. Let's translate this shit and see what it does. Let's go over here where it takes you. Now that I've translated it, I know where to go next. Let's translate this. Let's go here. Why is the answer Porphyria? Let's look at the clue. Let's go look this up. You know what I mean? Went through the whole thing. It was super fun. So even
that's the thing is right. During Secret World, like I made a point because I loved those missions so much to make sure that I went through and did the entire thing. Just, I remember I spent like, oh, what am I doing in Secret World tonight? I'm trying that mission. I will spend 3 to 4 hours trying to piece together some of those investigations without using guides.
Even if you know the answer, was what I'm saying, you can still do the mission.
Oh, I know. It's
make yourself do the. It's you know what it is. It's like when the teacher says you have to show your work in math. You're like, I know what the answer is. They're like,
I know the answer is 12, and they're like, the answer is not the point.
Write it down.
Like,
do the
you
work.
You have to prove to me that the process. That's the point. Yeah.
All I'm saying is you could redo them. Just do that. Just show
I know it. I could just
I'm just saying. Because it was honestly, there's a couple of them that were actually had fun. Like, even though I knew the answer, I just had fun doing the process. The side mission in Scorched Desert were all those satellite dishes, and yet they're all different types of code.
Oh, that one surprised me in Secret World, in the original Secret World, because it was just listed as a side mission. It wasn't like it wasn't like, hey, by the way, this mission is going to be.
It's three different types of encoding, I think, 3 or 4. I want to say it's 3.
And then even still, like how they
and then you
mix
translate them, and then you stack them on top of each other, and then collapse the letters. That's so cool. It's so even when you know how to do it and what it ends up being, just doing it, like bringing it up, converting it correctly, putting it in place, and seeing it fall together is just, there's something like satisfying about the process.
Whenever I encounter anybody who's, you know what I like in games? Like a really tough puzzle. And I'm like, oh, do you? Because I've played a bunch of puzzle games. I really enjoy a good puzzle. And Secret World, one of the reasons why we love it is because it has these are the trickiest puzzles that I've ever played. And it's because they make you look up such obscure information sometimes.
Would you like to translate Hebrew? Or, sorry, would you like to translate Arabic to Hebrew?
Arabic into Hebrew.
While mummies are walking towards you trying to kill you? Does that tickle your fancy?
Will that blow your mind? Because...
How about translate Japanese
on
at the
origami
same time?
as you're folding origami? Yeah. Oh man, just injected into my veins. I always point to the one that is like the one that we don't have in Secret World Legends, and it's to a.
Oh, that's the London one, right? The phone number one.
The one where it's
Aldini's.
there's this phone number. It's something like that.
I think it's Aldini's.
It's like, oh yeah, you found this phone number on this card, and I'm like, okay, cool. I can't find a phone anywhere in the game in order to do it. And I'm like searching all over. I'm going back to Kingsmith, going to like telephone booths there. No, nothing there. Going to it's like nothing is clickable to be able to be used. I'm like, where can I find a phone in the game? And at that point, I looked down at my cell phone and I was like, are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? And that was one of those.
You know what I just realized? There's a phone in the game now. It wasn't there before, but there is now. Or it would have been there when you did that mission, but there is one now. And there's one in TSW, just not when you did that mission. It's in Tokyo. Diamond has a phone. You call it for the morning light.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Technically, our characters should have cell phones, honestly.
But I'm saying there's a dialable phone. You punch in the phone number, and you get the like voice recording from the morning light place.
I wonder.
So I'm just saying, what if you punch in the number for the London mission?
I wonder.
It might not work in Legends, but it's mildly worth maybe booting up TSW just to see if that phone could dial that number.
I wonder. Oh.
It's more likely than not that it only does the morning light one, but the fact that it lets you dial a number would make it worth trying just to see.
Right, yeah, no, would they have gone that far? Because it's just an audio clip. Even when I called the phone number in frickin' London, used my cell phone at the time and made an international call to London
Oops.
I figured, what was that going to cost me? How long was this phone call going to be? 30 seconds? Even if it was an international call and I wasn't on any sort of plan, what was that going to cost me? Like $2 or $3 or something like that?
Or whatever.
I was like, you know what? That's totally worth it. If this actually works out, it's totally worth it. And it did, and I was like, oh man, son of a...
Yeah, so anyways, I'm just saying, I don't believe Tokyo was out. Was Tokyo out when the Albini mission was in?
That would be one of the side story missions, right?
Yeah. No, it would have to be, right?
It would have to be a side story mission. And...
No, side stories included... Didn't side stories include a Tokyo mission?
Yeah, would that be the Sleuths Gallery?
That came later when it repackaged them, but I think originally did they come out individually though? There's multiple side stories. There's the
they came out separately.
Yeah, okay. So there was a
like
Tokyo side
one a
story.
month or something, or one every other month or so.
Yeah, there's Side Story 1, which came out in April 2014, which was called Further Analysis. Then came issue 9, The Black Signal. So by that point, we were
Tokyo.
That's
right?
Tokyo. Then Side Story 2 was July 2014, and that's Love and Loathing.
Okay.
And I forget exactly what that one's about. But Side Story 3 is The Last Pagan. So that's obviously Tokyo.
Right. So what was Further Analysis then? What was the first one?
Further Analysis. That came after The Venetian Agenda and before The Black Signal. And Black Signal was the opening of Tokyo. Pretty sure that was Tokyo, which was June 2014. So the side stories. So actually, the Tokyo opened during the middle of the side stories. One was The Venetian Agenda, and that was the pre-introduction to Tokyo. And then The Black Signal was 7 months later. Only 7 months? Huh. Felt longer. Because it would, like, I know that we go back and say, oh man, that was such a long period of time between when they did Venice, between whatever, and it was such a long time that they even put it in the cutscene to the Black Signal.
It was in Further Analysis had the animate clay mission.
Okay. And is that the one we're talking about? I think so.
Yeah, that's the one with the phone number.
Okay. And I always thought the reason why they didn't bring that one back was because they had you make a phone call to London. And
so
they had to keep up a phone number.
Actually, the reason they don't bring that one back, I think, is...
But also, they could have let's just put a telephone there in London somewhere and have you... They could just change that bit, I've always thought. So there has to be some other real reason.
Wasn't it? I thought it was related to the chainsaw.
That's really what it was. Wasn't that the reward for doing it?
I thought it
going
was.
through Aldini's mission.
It was also just a flesh wound. That was a mission as well.
I always thought that the whole.
No, I think you got the chainsaw was from just a flesh wound.
Okay.
I don't think it was from animate clay. Yeah. Rewards auxiliary weapon. So that wasn't from the investigation mission. Where's the rewards? It was just credits of. Yeah. Yeah, you got a bunch of XP. But yeah, it was just credits.
But I would totally do that. I'd be like, tonight I'm going to be solving this mission, and and that's why one of the ones that was just like brain breaking was in Savage. Was it in Savage Coast? No, it was in Blue Mountain. It's the one in Blue Mountain that had the headlights of the car were in Morse code. It was the headlights of the car Morse code.
Yeah.
And I was like, trying to figure that out was just, it was mind numbing. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, what's funny is that phone number is only tier 2 of that mission. That's crazy.
That's why I was like, wait, you want me to what? No.
To play the jingle, shopping cart, trash can, brick wall, plastic container, running water.
And I still remember it. That's how much it's embedded in my brain.
That's fucking funny. But so yeah, I believe I think Further Analysis was before Tokyo, right? The first
Further Analysis was right before Tokyo, yeah.
Yeah. So there wouldn't have been a phone in the game yet, I don't believe. No. But it would be funny to go see if you can punch in that number.
That's what I mean. Like, it wouldn't.
I doubt it would work. I sincerely doubt it would work, but it's the only phone I can think of in a game that lets you dial a phone number.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I think you have to be on the mission to dial it. I think you have to be inside the... Yeah, that wouldn't work then. If you have to be inside the Tokyo mission to access the phone, like for it to light up, then it wouldn't work. You know what I mean?
You could still, if you're dialing the phone number inside that mission.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, just to see if... Yeah, you could just dial the number, see what happened. But
Just see what happens.
What I'm saying is if you went back in TSW, you couldn't have both missions active at the same time. That could be a problem.
So they would have to come up with another solution other than making people...
No, I'm just saying, not them fixing it. I'm saying for us to go see if the phone number actually works in-game.
Oh,
in the
okay.
original, just to do it. Just to be like, haha!
Does it? Did anyone think of that? Which...
Probably not.
Probably. Yeah,
I did like that graphic that was like what's like the chest or something? Where is it? Yeah, enter the customer number. It's like a rib cage. Reminded me of the Doctor game where you can't touch the sides.
Oh, yeah.
Operation.
Yeah, Operation. Thank you. It reminded me of that. Just the rib cage with a bunch of buttons everywhere. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Good times. Good times. All right. Anyway.
Any who's-its?
Yeah, anyway. What?
Hey, what's
Who's-its? Whatchamacallits? That was a candy bar.
thinking of a jig?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm starting to phase out.
Yeah, that's probably about that time.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock.
Is it 1 o'clock? It is 1 o'clock. Anyway,
Oh,
all
so
right.
it's 1.
So, on that note, agents, this has been the 0 Point Report, strain 64-DRM. You can catch us recording live every other Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on the 0 Point Report Twitch channel, where you can also join us and chat with us while we do the show live, or download our show wherever podcasts are found so you can listen to us on the go. Jimmy, where can we find you online?
JimmyTheRabbit.com, YouTube.com/JimmyTheRabbit, Twitch.tv/JimmyTheRabbit, and at @1JimmyTheRabbit on Twitter.
And everyone should go and just report at Jimmy the Rabbit for, or
Not
at
at
Jimmy,
one Jimmy
not
the
you.
No, Jimmy the Rabbit.
Report Jimmy the Rabbit on
Yeah.
Twitter for
That
for account impersonation.
that 11-year-old account that is not active, that they won't give you the name for.
It only has one tweet and it's not even a full word.
Yeah, it's got one tweet, it's followed one person, and has one follow. It's like the bare minimum activity required to be an existing account.
That's
and,
good enough for Twitter.
and all that activity was from the same day, fucking 11 years ago. And they won't give you the goddamn name.
Nope.
So fucking annoying.
I thought of that. Yeah. So last week I went and I was like, I'm just gonna report it. I'm just gonna report if it was coming from you, maybe it'd be like, oh, this person's doing it. But if it came from me and I'm like, no, this person is, they're not really, but just
It's time to let go of that.
it's right. It's time. It's time.
It's been over a decade. We haven't done anything.
Go with a name.
Let it go.
Yeah, so I went and reported the account. I thought that was fun. Two-Ton Waffle, where can we find you online?
You can find me at twotonwaffle.com. Same thing over on Twitch. YouTube, you're going to have to search for me on YouTube. Same, twotonwaffle.com.
TwoTonWaffle.com on
No.
YouTube.
Two-Tone
.com.
Waffle. Yeah, it's late. Words are hard.
And I'm Ocho. You can find me both on Twitter and here on Twitch at Big Mikey Ocho. You can get in touch with us by engaging with the show on Twitter at 0 Point Report, checking out previous shows on our YouTube channel, and joining us on our Discord server. What? Huh? What?
Oh, that was my group sound.
Oh.
Stop watching.
Someone got me into a penthouse dungeon. Don't see that every day.
Both named the 0 Point Report. So from all of us here at the 0 Point Report, I want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all the best from the secret world. Two-Tone Waffle has already quit out of the game. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.